Hi everyone, welcome to your July 2024 horoscopes. My name is Cailin and today I'm going to be doing horoscopes for all 12 signs so you can watch for your rising sun or moon sign. If you have time, I do recommend that you watch for all three, and that is because there is a distinction between them. Generally speaking, the rising sign will be the most accurate overall. Having said that, if you have a stellium that involves your sun or moon, you may find that to be more accurate. Your sun sign horoscope will tell you about your career, your big life goals and dreams, and the legacy that you want to leave behind, whereas your moon sign horoscope will tell you about your family life, your emotional world, as well as property and living circumstances. I will be providing timestamps in the description and the comment box below once the live stream has aired. So please feel free to help me out in the comments with the timestamps so that I can get those up as quickly as possible. So in terms of the transits that I'm going to be covering today, we'll be having a look at Neptune going retrograde in Pisces. So that will happen on the 2nd of July. I'll also be briefly covering the Mercury in Cancer, Neptune in Pisces trine on the same day. We'll be looking at the new moon in Cancer on the 5th/6th of July, depending where you live in the world. This is a super spiritual new moon because it is conjunct the fixed star Sirius. So we'll be discussing that for your sign for each of the 12 signs. We'll also be having a look at the Mars-Uranus conjunction in Taurus at 26 degrees on the 15th/16th of July, again, depending where you live in the world. And we'll also be covering Mars's transit through Gemini, which starts around the 20th or the 21st of July for 7 weeks. And then lastly, we'll be concluding with the second full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees. So this is on the 21st of July. We did just have a full moon in Capricorn in about 10 days ago now, around the 21st, 22nd of June. So this is the second one. This is actually what a blue moon is. So when people say once in a blue moon, what it really refers to is having 2 full moons in the same sign back to back, which is rare. Okay, so I am going to start off with Aries, but before I get into that, I just wanted to say you can follow me on social media. So it's the same handle, CAISTROLOGY, on Instagram, Facebook. I have a Telegram channel as well. And if you enjoy this video, please give it a like and share it around, because that way it's going to reach more people. Okay, so now let's start off with Aries, rising, sun, and moons. Okay, Aries. On the 2nd of July, Neptune is going to station retrograde in the sign of Pisces in your 12th house at 29 degrees. Is this a big deal? Ordinarily, no, because Neptune goes retrograde for over 5 months every single year. However, what is unique about this particular Neptune retrograde is that this is the first time that Neptune will be retrograde at 29 degrees, which is the anaretic degree. This is considered to be a critical degree. And as an astrologer, what I've noticed is that anytime a planet gets to 29 degrees, even if it's just the sun or Mercury or Venus, this is like a really emotionally charged day or an emotionally charged time. So you may find that something related to 12th house matters is coming up for you in a big way around the 2nd of July. All right, so this can be related to self-sabotaging behavior, wanting to quit some kind of addiction or overcome some sort of fear or insecurity. This could be related to a creative project that you're working on, sleeping issues such as insomnia, or just having difficulty getting to sleep and staying asleep, or even just feelings of loneliness, apathy, or perhaps even depression. Okay, so Neptune first reached 29 degrees in the first few days of May. So since then, the last couple of months, these may have been themes that you have been struggling with, or there may have just been some sort of situation in your life where you have felt extreme confusion or apathy, or there's just like a lack of clarity and not knowing which way to go or which way to turn. So the good news is that an hour or so later, Mercury will be at 29 degrees Cancer, making a trine to Neptune at 29 degrees. So this is going to present some sort of opportunity for healing and forgiveness. And we're really combining the themes of the 12th house with the themes of the 4th house where Mercury is situated. So in a nutshell, you could, around early July, be experiencing some kind of healing taking place or forgiveness with your family, something to do with a childhood experience, or maybe your children, maybe you're forgiving someone or they're forgiving you. If you have physically lost something that is important to you, maybe something that belonged to a family member or some kind of heirloom, you could find what you've lost. It doesn't have to be something related to family. It could just be that you had lost something and you find it within the home around the 2nd of July, plus or minus a couple of days. On a different note, you may have like a heart-to-heart conversation with someone who is important to you, and this could be regarding matters that are really dear to your heart, or some kind of secret that you have been holding on to. And I say that because we've got Neptune in the 12th house, which represents secrets, but then this trine to Mercury represents a conversation taking place. So that's about it for my notes on Neptune retrograde. Again, it's a 5-month-long transit, so in early December it'll go retrograde once more. Neptune will be at 29 degrees until the first few days of September. So you may be working through these themes of self-sabotage, or just getting to the root of some kind of fear or insecurity or obstacle blockage that you want to overcome. Now, on the 5th/6th of July, depending where you live in the world, there will be a new moon in Cancer at 14 degrees, and this will be in your 4th house. So this particular new moon has really supportive aspects alongside it. It's conjunct Venus, it's trine Saturn in Pisces, it's sextile Mars and Uranus in Taurus. And so ultimately, new moons are about planting the seed for a new beginning or a new chapter taking place in our lives in some respect. So with this occurring in your 4th house, it's going to relate to 4th house themes. This can be property, land, people that you live with, your family, and ancestry and lineage. So a few different ways that this could play out is that you may be deciding around this time that you would like to buy a property, put your property on the market for sale, relocate from where you are. Maybe you just want to get different tenants in. You could just be setting the intention to relocate, or maybe you've had a really difficult stint of having uncertainty about where you live, what the future holds for having a roof over your head. And with this new moon being conjunct Sirius, which is the most spiritual fixed star, it's actually considered to be the spiritual sun. This can indicate some kind of divine guidance or generosity, help and assistance coming through. So, it's really a time for miracles to happen, if I may be so bold to say that. So dream big if there are some very significant changes that you want to make to your living situation. Now, for some of you, this can indicate that you are preparing for someone to move in with you, or you could find out that someone is moving out of the property or the shared space. Because there are mostly positive aspects alongside this particular new moon, whatever transpires in terms of people coming and going or your living circumstances, somehow this looks to be positive to me. And, even if nothing is happening immediately, it's like there is some kind of guarantee or faith that you have in the situation to, let's say, proceed along the path that is going to be most favorable to you. When it comes to family, this can indicate that you may be deciding to start a family, to expand your family, or you may receive news that your family is expanding, whether that's becoming, a grandparent, an auntie, an uncle, a great-grandparent even. And, you may be making some important decisions with respect to developments with your family. This could be to do with procuring certain resources or possessions as well, given that 14 degrees is the Taurus degree. On a different note, deep healing can take place with a family member. And on another note, you may be finding out that a family member of yours is going through some kind of healing experience, and maybe you are just witnessing a really positive new chapter starting in their life. So on the 15th or the 16th of July, depending where you live in the world, Mars is going to conjunct Uranus in Taurus in your second house at 26 degrees. So again, with this one, there's all good aspects. This conjunction is sextiling the sun in Cancer. It's sextiling Neptune in Pisces. Having said that, Venus is opposite Pluto at the time in sort of a wide opposition, which is worth mentioning. So there could still be some tension here. But in a nutshell, with this conjunction happening in your second house, this is related to your finances, your resources, possessions, valuables, or perhaps something to do with your diet, even your teeth or the lower part of your face, throat, neck. We'll go into that. So let's say Mars is about setting goals, being action orientated, making decisions, making plans, being assertive and proactive, and also advocating for your needs. So it's really about taking initiative. Uranus is a planet which rules over shocking change, sudden twists and turns. It is a higher octave of Mercury, though, so this can represent sudden downloads of information. And, Uranus is also about, if I didn't say it already, rebellion. Okay, so this conjunction in your second house can indicate that financially speaking, there may be an opportunity for you to earn big money, but you may need to spend big money. There may be a risk that you are taking with investments, or you may have like a sudden, let's say, business idea or business venture that you want to pursue, and there's perhaps some kind of time frame or window of opportunity that needs to be acted upon. Maybe this just comes out of the blue, and you don't have much time to plan, and you need to sort of use your reflexes to act quickly. The same can be said for resources. You may be coming into resources unexpectedly. You may have an opportunity to buy something which requires, again, a bit of a risk, or perhaps spending more than you had intended. By the same token, there may be an opportunity to sell something that you weren't planning to part ways with. So this could be an important possession or an asset or something to do with your investments. When it comes to the second house ruling over diet, this can indicate you deciding to change your diet, your eating habits, etc., really, really suddenly. So, it could be that you watch some kind of documentary, or you read some information that just instantly changes your personal set of values when it comes to your eating preferences, nutrition and diet, etc. For some people, you may just make a snap decision that you want to go vegetarian, you want to go vegan, or cut something out of your diet. Like I said, on a different note, this may be required of you. You may find out that you, for example, are celiac, gluten intolerant, dairy intolerant, or what have you, and it's just like an immediate need for you to change your diet. The second house also rules over the teeth and the lower part of the face. So there may be some unexpected dental work that comes up. You may have to pay a bit more than expected. Maybe you were just going in for a clean, and then you find out that, you need to get a cavity filled. Do be careful around this time, again, 15th, 16th of July. I can't give medical advice, of course, but all I'm saying is it would be wise to get a second opinion or a third opinion if you are told that you need some kind of procedure or work, or you may just want to, do some more research for yourself. Now, on the 20th or the 21st of July, depending where you live in the world, Mars is going to enter the sign of Gemini, and it will be in Gemini for about 7 weeks until around the 4th or the 5th of September. Wait, hang on. Yes. Okay, so Mars is your ruling planet. Wherever Mars goes, whatever Mars is doing, this represents you and the action that you are taking, where you are putting your energy and attention and effort. Now, on one hand, I have no doubt that you will just naturally be drawn to third house matters, which I'll go through in a moment. But on a different note, there may be things that are brought to your attention that come up critically, that are of critical importance. And it's like, oh, I wanted to focus on this, but now I need to attend to this immediately. So the third house rules over writing, communications, short-term travel, social media and the online space. It also rules over qualifications and certificates. So this is like, let's say, doing short courses. So it is still an educational house, so to speak. The third house also rules over siblings, friends, co-workers, clients, as well as extended relatives like cousins and aunties and uncles. So with Mars going into the third house, this can indicate that over the course of the next 7 weeks, these are the themes that you are primarily focused on. So you may actually initiate some kind of new writing project or communications project. Maybe you want to build a new website. Maybe you want to start selling something online. You may have to make some very important and perhaps difficult decisions when it comes to your co-workers or anyone that you manage. And the third house is also related to sales. So there may be a lot of sales and deals being done. In saying that, the third house is one of the houses related to contracts. So you may have to, let's say, cut certain contracts. You may have to let go of clients. You may have to walk away from certain business deals or client contracts that were previously in place. That wherever Mars goes, this can indicate where we are experiencing problems and obstacles and challenges to overcome. And also, Mars is the planet of being assertive, yes, being a pioneer and a trailblazer and a leader, but also being aggressive. All right, so do watch out for disagreements and arguments with co-workers, clients, siblings, extended relatives, and also your neighbors too. The best way to kind of like harness and channel this energy would be to work collaboratively with these individuals on trying to overcome some kind of problem together. So it's like you're forming a small group and taking action and starting some kind of initiative together, because the third house is also a house of teamwork and working in small groups. Like I said, you may be dealing in the social media online space. So you may be looking to start a new profile. You could be pumping out a lot of content in this time. There may be opportunities for short-term travel, like a weekend away here or an excursion there, or even, a week or so, even if it's just like, a few hours away. The third house does rule over vehicles. So having Mars in Gemini in your third house can indicate a heightened chance of pranks, or let's say problems with cars and vehicles. I would highly recommend getting your car checked over, getting it serviced, even just checking tire pressure at this time. This is a high-level warning for speeding fines, speeding tickets, and just general, like parking offenses and infringements and what have you. So just be really careful not to rack up too many penalties. there. Anyway, so that's what to expect with Mars going into the sign of Gemini. Lastly, Aries, let's have a look at the full moon in Capricorn. So this will take place on the 21st of July at 29 degrees in your 10th house. The beauty of this full moon in Capricorn is that it is conjunct Pluto in Aquarius at 0 degrees. It's trining Mars in Gemini at 0 degrees. So it's trining your chart ruler. It is trining Uranus, and it's sextiling Neptune. So without going into all of the specifics here, on the whole, there's largely supportive aspects at play in this full moon, but it is at 29 degrees. So no matter which way you slice it, this does represent some kind of tense moment, a pivotal choice to be made, an obstacle to overcome. It's giving 9 of Wands energy for those of you who are into tarot. If not, just, ignore that comment. The 10th house is related to career, title, leadership, legacy, as well as your status. And it is also associated with legal matters as well. So this can be a moment where you are fighting to attain some kind of promotion or position of leadership. There may be a really grueling work project or task for you to complete. I have no doubt that you will be able to do this successfully, but not without a lot of sustained effort. So just be mindful not to burn the candle at both ends. This can be a moment where you are receiving high praise from your superior or from your boss. This may be a time where you are actually making a difficult decision to walk away from a job, a position, a career, or an industry, or maybe even the workforce altogether. So it could just be that that time has come, and even though you feel in your heart of hearts that it's the right thing to do, there could still be a lot of emotions that come from this, or there could be also like a degree of pushback from other people trying to hold on to you when they're just making it harder for you to make the decision that you know is right for you. Okay. Again, this could be related to a relationship status change or a business status change. So it could be that you and your significant other are making definitive decisions about what direction to go in, which affects the status of the relationship. I'm not saying if it's for, like what that is. It could be anything in the sense of becoming exclusive, getting engaged, getting married, or deciding to walk away from the relationship altogether. In any case, it could just be a defining moment, and the same holds true for business partnerships and relationships. And this can indicate a legal matter finally reaching a conclusion and coming to a head. So you could be embroiled in something that gets a little bit of, let's say, fanfare, or it attracts a little bit of a following somehow, or a lot of a following depending on your chart. But having the full moon be conjunct Pluto and trining Mars indicates an ability to win against an enemy, or win or overpower some kind of problem or obstacle. So one way or another, Aries, it looks like there's a really defining moment that's happening in your career or your relationships, or even just the positions of leadership that you hold and the legacy that you were trying to create and leave behind. So Aries, that's all I have for you for July 2024. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content, please hit the subscribe button. I'm going to move on to Taurus in just a moment. Okay. This is for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Like myself, I'm a Taurus Sun. So Taurus, first and foremost, let's have a look at the Neptune retrograde transit in Pisces. So on the 2nd of July, Neptune will stay station retrograde in Pisces, as it always does every year, like clockwork, for just over 5 months. And this will be at 29 degrees in your 11th house. So normally I wouldn't even really mention it, because this is a regular transit. The reason I am bringing it to your attention today is because this will be the first time that Neptune has stationed retrograde at 29 degrees. So it first hit 29 degrees in early May, a couple of months back. So there may have been some sort of situation in your life that has been suspended or been on hold, that has been causing you some kind of confusion, where it's been difficult for you to just have clarity. And this is related to 11th house themes. So your long-term goals and dreams, what you want to do going forward, how a certain situation is going to pan out. This could involve your community, your friendship, your social media presence, if you have some kind of social media account or online following. So, this is largely concerned with what direction you want to orient yourself towards. Neptune will be retrograde until early December, but it will get off this hectic 29 degrees around the 4th of September. So, you may feel less pressure surrounding these topics once you get to early September. In saying that, just an hour or so after Neptune stations retrograde, it's actually going to make a perfect trine to Mercury in Cancer in your 3rd house. So now we're combining 3rd house and 11th house themes. So, Mercury is all about communications. It's how we think, it's our mindset, as well as it being representative of friendships. Neptune represents spirituality, intuition, signs and synchronicities from the universe, and divine guidance. It's also it also rules over unconditional love, generosity, and charity. So again, this is on the 2nd of July. So plus or minus a day, you may experience some kind of positive let's say outcome or download of information, or just intuitive nudge when it comes to your social network and friendships, what direction you should be heading in to expand your community or to meet like-minded individuals. This can indicate you having some kind of clarity surrounding what you would need to be, what kind of qualification or certification you would require in order to pursue a long-term goal or dream. Or this could be an opportunity for you to, let's say, participate in some kind of education course which is going to benefit you in the long run. This can also indicate a time where you are starting projects or experiencing some kind of positive flow when it comes to projects that are going to help you to form a passive form of income. And also this could be an opportunity for you to experience like a weekend away with friends or perhaps siblings. And this is also a great time for automatic writing and just anything that involves creative writing as well. Now, on the 5th or the 6th of July, depending where you live in the world, there's going to be a new moon in Cancer, and this is going to be taking place at 14 degrees. So 14 degrees is the Taurus degree, but it is 14 degrees Cancer is actually the fixed star Sirius. So having a new moon conjunct Sirius is extremely auspicious for spiritual awakenings, spiritual and intuitive downloads, and just honestly divine spiritual guidance and protection as a whole. So this is occurring in the 3rd house. So a new moon represents planting a new seed, starting a new chapter, or even just having those first kernels of an idea. And it's related to 3rd house themes. So writing, communications, education courses, whether you want to take them or produce some kind of short course. This can indicate signing up for some kind of qualification or certification. This can indicate potentially starting some sort of website or building an app or starting a social media profile that is going to have some kind of spiritual benefit. So it can be related to healing, even if this is following more tradition forms of, let's say, medicine and healing. It doesn't have to be, something alternative. In any case, this just represents an interest in learning more about something that is going to have this high value spiritual healing content that is going to help you help other people. Okay. On a different note, this can indicate a new chapter starting with siblings or extended relatives, friends, or even your neighbors. So this could be working together collaboratively or working on a project. This can even indicate, making new friends, attending some sort of networking event, and maybe this is going to occur in an ongoing capacity, and maybe you're the one that's going to be forming this. Okay, so again, this is around the 5th or the 6th of July, plus or minus a couple of weeks. Okay, so either side of the full moons, you could be interested in delving into these themes, or they could be cropping up for you around that time. Now, on the 15th/16th of July, we're going to have Mars and Uranus conjunct in Taurus in your first house at 26 degrees. The good news is that this conjunction is only making positive aspects. It's sextiling the Sun in Cancer, it's sextiling Neptune in Pisces. In saying that, at the time, Venus will be in a wide opposition to Pluto. In any case, this is happening in your first house. And so this indicates something that is either happening to you, or that, or it's like action that you are taking. So because Mars rules over your 7th house, this represents your relationships. So you could be deciding to make some significant changes in your relationship. This could be your romantic relationship or partnerships. This could be to do with business partnerships, friends, one-to-one services that you offer. So this can indicate a relationship status change. On a different note, you could be having a surprising conversation with an ex, with a friend, or even just someone completely unexpected. Could even be like a stranger, given that it's conjunct Uranus. It just represents some kind of strange, unexpected encounter. So again, this is around the 15th, 16th of July. Because Uranus rules over your 10th house, which represents your career, this could be to do with your career and your professional status. And, Mars is to take action, and Uranus is something shocking and unexpected. But again, this is you making these decisions, right? Because it's in your first house. So this could be a shock decision that you make to walk away from a job, to apply for a job, which is maybe a little bit out of left field. Maybe you've already applied for something and you just really didn't expect to receive an offer of employment, or maybe you get offered an opportunity to do something to showcase your talents. Maybe this feels premature. Maybe you feel underprepared. Maybe you feel like there's someone who's better equipped to do this, but no, this opportunity comes to you, and it does feel like it's out of the blue. It feels like there's a short window of opportunity. You need to act on it immediately or give an answer immediately, or it's like the opportunity is on that day or shortly after this conversation. On a different note, even if you're not taking quote unquote action or nothing's happening, this could indicate just having a download of information, just having this intuitive nudge of, I need to research this, I need to spend money on that, I need to go in this direction, I need to speak to that person, or just something catches your attention and you're like, boom, I'm drawn to this, and then it yields positive results, and you're like, where did this download even come from? When it comes to life path, Mars conjunct Uranus in the first house can indicate making snap decisions, having this sudden drive and energy and sense of purpose. And 26 degrees is the Taurus degree, so this is associated with your personal set of values. So you're like, this is in alignment. I know I need to go here. I know I need to be pursuing this thing. It's like something just comes over you or takes over you, and you just know that even if you don't have all the answers, this is the next natural step. And perhaps there is a bit of pushback from your partner, from someone that you're friends with, maybe, your employer, who is like, no, I don't think you should go for this opportunity. It's like there's this push and pull where someone or something is trying to get you to stay on the path that you're on or go on a slightly different path, but you instinctively know better. Okay. On a different note, Mars rules over your 12th house, and the 12th house is all about that which is hidden. It's a very secretive house, but it is also a very spiritual house. So having the ruler of the 12th house be conjunct Uranus in the first house this can lead to an explosive revelation. Maybe there's an outburst from you. Maybe you're just suddenly speaking your truth. Maybe you're revealing something that you really didn't plan to share with another person. And, this could be something that you've kept to yourself for a very long time. On a different note, you could feel kind of pushed to reveal this. It's like, you still have a choice, but if you don't say this thing, then something worse is going to come out of it. So you're kind of like, I don't want to say forced, but you just have to make a snap call, a snap judgment to talk about something earlier than what you would have expected. But there will be a positive payoff to this, especially because this conjunction is sextiling the sun in Cancer and it's sextiling Neptune in Pisces. Lastly, with this transit, the 12th house rules over self-sabotaging behaviors. So the ruler of the 12th house in the first conjunct Uranus can indicate you're just seeing things clear as day. You're understanding what decisions you will need to make to stop cutting yourself off at the knees. It does feel like there's some degree of risk that you are taking here. But I just see Taurians doing something different, acting differently, choosing. It's not about choosing the path of least resistance. It's choosing the path of alignment for you. And it does take some kind of courage or boldness to stick to this and to stick to your guns. Lastly, with the transit, with this conjunction, just be careful on this day. Again, this is around the 15th, 16th of July, plus or minus a day, because Mars and Uranus are associated with accidents. Uranus is associated with unexpected happenings. So don't take unnecessary risks with your physical body. Don't go on roller coasters, guys. Don't go bungee jumping on this day. Like, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but this is a high level suggestion. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge lover of roller coasters, and I do have an appetite for certain physical adventures and activities, but today is not the day, simply put. Okay. Now, on the 20th of July or the 21st, depending where you live in the world, Mars is going to enter the sign of Gemini. So it's going to transit your second house. This will be for about 7 weeks. Mars takes about 2 years to go through all 12 signs. So it's been a while since you had Mars and Gemini in your second house. The second house rules over finances, resources, possessions, diet, as well as your teeth in the lower part of your face. So that's what we're going to be discussing now. Mars going through your second house can indicate that you are trying to generate more income. You're taking on some kind of new initiative to earn more money, to increase your resources. Look, not going to lie, Mars through the second house is usually an expensive time. We're just parting ways with money, tappity tap tap on the credit card. So there's going to be a lot of expenses, guys. So just prepare for that now. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's not like, it could just be that you really want to invest in this thing. You want to engage maybe a coach or the services of another person, given that Mars rules over the 7th house. Or perhaps you have to help someone out financially because Mars rules over your 12th house, and the 12th house represents really big expenses. And then the 2nd house is finances and resources. So watch your bank account as you lead up to the 20th of July. Put money aside because you're going to be spending it over the next 7 weeks. And I'm a Taurus too. So, what I say to you, I say to me. With resources and possessions, this can indicate you want to procure some kind of resource. Maybe it's a really big investment. This can also indicate a purging of possessions, a culling of the wardrobe, being cutthroat. This dress is ugly. I haven't worn that coat for 5 years. These boots have got to go. I see Taurians just, really taking the proverbial knife to their possessions and what they have in storage, which is a big deal for Taurians because we love our stuff and we don't want to get rid of it. But you may just have to downsize. You may need to get rid of certain things to make space for other things in your life. Okay. Do be mindful. I really hate to say this, but be careful of theft because Mars rules over the 12th house, and this is like things being done behind your back. And then the 2nd house is your money and it's your possessions. So, if you have people over to the house, maybe you have someone coming over to like give you a quote or whatever, or it's someone you don't know that well, but they have to be in your house for some reason. Just lock up the jewelry. Don't leave cash lying around. I'm not trying to like freak anyone out. Again, we do experience this transit every 2 years. But I also want to give you the heads up. So this is my heads up. The 2nd house, like I said, rules over diet. So this can indicate that you are being regimented and dedicated to a new diet. You may have to make changes to your eating habits. This is a pretty common transit for needing to cut something out of your life in terms of diet. And hey, it may just be like a 2-month thing, right? And it could just be less than. So it doesn't have to be all together. Maybe you're cutting down on sugar, you're cutting down on alcohol consumption. You're just dialing it back a little bit. But for others of you, you could just be like, yep, I have a full-blown allergy or intolerance. I can't eat this or drink this anymore. Teeth, lower part of your face. This can be a time where you are at risk of toothaches and infections. Don't be scared, guys. Again, I'm a Taurus as well. I'm not concerned. This is a time to be proactive with your teeth, though. So I would say go to a dentist, get on the front foot. This could be a time where you are initiating some kind of dental work. You're like, I want to get my teeth whitened. I want to get them straightened. And, it could be that you are going down that route. But again, do be careful of biting into I don't know. I was going to say like sharp things. I mean sharp things. I mean, just be careful with your teeth around this time and be more diligent with your dental hygiene. You guys can so see my Virgo moon coming out right now. Anyway, on the 21st of July, there will be a full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees. And this will be in your 9th house. For the most part, it's making all good aspects. There is one tense aspect occurring at the same time, and that is Uranus in Taurus square Mercury in Leo. But in any case, full moons indicate something coming to a close, a chapter reaching some kind of conclusion, or something could also be revealed to you. So this could be like an epiphany. The 9th house rules over belief systems, the law, higher learning, teachers, and travel. So there could be something that's coming to a head or a conclusion that's related to those topics. And 29 degrees, even though the full moon has all of the supportive, beneficial, harmonious aspects alongside it, 29 degrees is still the critical degree. There is still some kind of crisis or existential crisis or some sort of challenge or obstacle to be overcome. So there could be hesitation or doubt here, but I see this personally as some kind of positive manifestation or outcome that requires a bit of a risk, a bit of a gamble, but the results will pay off in the future. The proof will be in the pudding. So for some of you, you could be having a pivotal shift in your belief systems when it comes to religion, spirituality, your worldviews, your political ideologies, your personal philosophies, even your moral code and your ethic, your own personal code of ethics. So you could be tightening this. You could have some kind of moral dilemma that comes up where you're really having to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. Okay. On a different note, you could have an epiphany here where your hope is restored, where your faith is renewed. You could certainly have some kind of clarity of vision when it comes to your dream for the future. And this isn't like 11th house stuff where you're having to move the pieces around in a mechanical way. The 9th house is like divine intervention, signs from the universe, signs from God, or whatever it is that you believe in. And it's like really zooming out and allowing yourself to dream big, even if you don't have the means or the resources right now. It's like, this is the vision. And, it's like flying a plane off a cliff and building the wings on the way down. There's a real leap of faith that's taking place here. When it comes to the law, something could be settled, something could be coming full circle. There could be a legal matter which is reaching completion, but it may require one last push, or there could be some doubt right before a massive breakthrough. Again, the 9th house is related to travel, so there could be an opportunity that comes up unexpectedly. Maybe you have to let someone down in order to take advantage of this travel opportunity. I hadn't intended to say that just kind of came through. Or it could be that some sort of travel opportunity is coming to a close, and perhaps that's earlier than expected. With the 9th house being related to higher education and teachers, some of you could be graduating from some kind of coursework, completing a master's degree, or even just your degree in general. An important teacher could come into your life, or a mentor, or you have a conversation, or they share something with you, which really just completely turns your thought processes and belief systems on its axes. And you could be receiving some kind of invaluable support from someone who is very like a spiritual figure or religious figure, someone who has this higher level of knowledge, authority, and spiritual wisdom that it's just like, I don't know, it just blows your socks off. Okay, Taurus, so that's all I have for you for July 2024. I'm now going to move on to Gemini. All right, so if you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. Please hit the subscribe button and share it around. If you want other people to see this video, if you really enjoyed it, it just helps me a lot if you guys support the channel, because it means that this channel can continue to grow and it can reach the people that it needs to reach. So I'm going to move on to Gemini in a moment. Okay. So Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Risings, welcome to your July 2024 horoscope. I'm a Gemini rising myself. So hey, fellow Geminis, let's start off by talking about Neptune being retrograde in Pisces. So this is going to occur tomorrow. So on the 2nd of July, Neptune will station retrograde at 29 degrees in your 10th house. This is about a 5+ month transit. So this will be until early December. This happens every year like clockwork. It's not really a big deal, but this is the first time Neptune's ever stationed retrograde at 29 degrees. So it's worth mentioning. And, just a little bit of history. The first time Neptune got to 29 degrees Pisces was only a couple of months ago in early May. So there might have been some kind of situation in your life that you have been seeking clarity on, you've been confused about, and this is likely to relate to 10th house themes, career trajectory, your status, your relationship status, your title, family relationships as well, legacy that you want to leave behind, what you want to be remembered for, as well as even decisions regarding parenthood or what kind of parent you want to be, or even if you, like, that could even be a question in and of itself if you want to become a parent in this lifetime. So with Neptune stationing retrograde at 29 degrees on the 2nd of July, it'll be retrograde, like I said, till early December, but it'll be at 29 degrees until, sorry, I said December. It'll be at 29 degrees till early September. So this can indicate that these questions are still at the forefront of your mind or just bubbling along in the background. Maybe you won't have clarity until then, but on a positive note, an hour or so after Neptune goes retrograde, it is going to make a trine to Mercury in Cancer in your 2nd house, and Mercury is the ruling planet for Gemini. So we're now combining the 10th house themes and the 2nd house themes. This can indicate that a breakthrough occurs, an intuitive download is received, spiritual wisdom is bestowed or understood when it comes to your resources and career. So how to earn a living off of the work that you love, how to increase your finances and resources, finding a way to earn more money from your job. This can also indicate that you are aligning yourself to a career or a life path that is in alignment with your personal set of values. Career and whatnot aside, this can indicate that your personal values and preferences when it comes to parenthood are being crystallized and actualized. So maybe you're getting clear on whether you want to start a family or expand your family further. If you're already parents, this can indicate having a breakthrough with how to parent in a way that feels right to you and that is underpinned by unconditional love and compassion. And on a different note, this can indicate having an important conversation with someone who helps you to see that you have the resources that you need to achieve the outcomes that you want. Now, on the 5th/6th of July, there will be a new moon in Cancer at 14 degrees in your 2nd house. And this particular new moon is making really positive aspects. So there's a lot of supportive energy at play with this new moon. New moons are about starting a new chapter, planting the seeds for something new in our life. So this can indicate that you are generating, or let's say planting the seeds to generate a higher level of income, or just increase your resources somehow. You could be looking to invest in certain resources or procuring important possessions. This could be something that you do that has a spiritual bent to it, because it is conjunct the fixed star Sirius, which is the most spiritual fixed star that there is. So I really think that many Geminis will have a spiritual awakening of some description, especially because the 2nd house in its own right just rules over your personal set of values. It's what you value, what you prioritize, what's important to you. And I think that as far as the 2nd house is concerned, in astrology, we just think, oh, like money and resources. But the thing is, what you spend money on and what you invest in, this is so intrinsically linked with what is really, really important to you, because you wouldn't be buying the things that you buy if this wasn't important to you somehow. So that's where the importance of personal values comes through. So I think that, spiritual values will start to be a fundamental part of your decision-making process when it comes to how you spend your time and your money and what you decide to invest in. Now, the second house is related to diet and cooking. So you could be setting new standards and goals for yourself. You could be trying to align your eating habits and your diet with your spiritual values. So this could be related to alcohol consumption, or eating meat or dairy, or whatever it is that you choose to eat or not to eat. And also some of you may want to pursue cooking traditional family meals, which really tie in your ancestry and lineage. So you could be exploring your heritage through those means. The second house is also related to your teeth and the lower part of your face. So you could be committing to a different form of dental hygiene, or you could be committing to improving or fixing your teeth somehow. And if you experience issues with your teeth, with your throat, your glands, your tongue, your thyroid, this is all second house territory, you may actually happen upon information or healing modalities that can help you to cleanse, purify, purge, and heal these areas if you suffer from some kind of ailment. Now, on the 15th/16th of July, Mars will conjunct Uranus in Taurus in your 12th house at 26 degrees. So this conjunction takes place once every couple of years. It is only making good aspects, with the exception of a wide opposition between Venus and Pluto. But in any case, let's have a look at what the 12th house rules over, which is self-sabotaging behavior, vices, addictions, fears, insecurities, etc. So you could have a sudden breakthrough moment with respect to these things. You could be quitting something cold turkey. You could have a sudden level of clarity and self-awareness when it comes to self-sabotaging behaviors. So, you could even have a really profound or prophetic dream or experience with, say, an astrologer or a tarot reader, or someone who, works with intuitive energies, or with, let's say, divination tools. And let's just see, with Mars ruling over your 6th house, which is work, health, and pets, and Mars ruling over your 11th house, which represents your long-term goals, plans, and dreams, you could be making some kind of unexpected decision that overturns a previously long-term held plan. Okay, so there's some kind of element of letting go here, or the path of least resistance. There's something here which is requiring you to go with the flow. So maybe, the job that you're in just isn't working out, or maybe you had certain habits or routines which are now impossible or really difficult to sustain. In any case, I see this as a really big breakthrough moment. There's something about the 15th, 16th of July, plus or minus a day, where you just get instant clarity and you know what it is that you need to do to move forward. Now, on the 20th/21st of July, Mars is going to enter the sign of Gemini for the first time in a couple of years. And of course, this means it is transiting your first house. So Mars rules over drive, determination, your goals. It's a planet which is associated with problem solving, strategy, and planning, if I didn't mention that already. So with Mars being in your first house, this can absolutely indicate that you are feeling more driven, more determined, you're setting new goals for yourself, you have improved problem-solving abilities. This can indicate that you are fighting for what you believe in. This can indicate that you have the impetus to work out and transform yourself, physically speaking. So maybe, you want to lose weight or just improve your flexibility or your physical strength somehow. And Mars will give you, Mars transiting the first house will elevate all of this for you. It'll increase your confidence and your drive, and you'll just naturally have more energy and feel more motivated. In saying that, there is a downside to having Mars in the first house, and this can be burning the candle at both ends. To being burnt out can indicate injuries occurring or experiencing inflammation. It is a time where you'll be more accident prone, so just be careful, especially on the roads when you're driving, when you're operating any kind of vehicle, also when you are using electrical tools as well, or just tools in general, anything with the hands. Be careful, please be careful with accidents to the hands, forearms, shoulders, and that includes burns as well. I'm a Virgo moon, so I always give out little heads up warnings. It's a general reading though, so just I'm not here to freak anyone out. I'm just here to give advice. Now, this can indicate a time where you may be more argumentative, more easily triggered, feeling more agitated. Your temper is just like, you could have like a hair trigger temper at this time. You could be feeling tested by things, especially at work, especially with friends and even with older siblings. Maybe challenges at work. There may be some health challenges to overcome, but Mars in the first house just gives you this will to overcome any issues that you experience. So on the whole, it's like a very motivating transit. All right. So you'll be able to achieve the kinds of things that would normally take you 3 times the effort. So that's why you do need to be careful when it comes to burnout, because there can just be this desire to go and push yourself too hard. And if you're, as my piano teacher used to say, don't run before you can walk. So this is why you need to be careful on the roads and when you're using tools and knives and all that kind of thing. So let's have a look at the full moon in Capricorn. Okay. So this will take place on the 21st of July at 29 degrees in your 8th house. Full moons are about letting go, something being illuminated, seeing things clearly, something reaching ahead. There is supportive, positive aspects that support this full moon, but it is at the 29th degree, being the critical degree, the anaretic degree. So at firstly speaking, there's some kind of challenge to overcome. So this is about mutual resources for some of you. I'll go through the list. So it could be about you and your mutual resources with another person, whether this is a significant other or a business partner or a shared investment. It's like, some kind of agreement or decision needs to be reached here. This can indicate a time where you are finding out private information or very sensitive information. You may be put in a position where you have to make a very difficult decision about what to reveal or what not to reveal. This can indicate a time where you are overcoming intimacy issues or emotional issues when it comes to displaying your vulnerability in certain relationships and connections. If you've been having difficulties with inheritances or taxes, this can indicate that finally coming to a head and being laid to rest. So there may just be a big push or a lot of effort that needs to be put in, but then you've achieved a positive outcome here through your hard work. This can also indicate having a really profound breakthrough or realization, which comes via therapy appointments, or perhaps some kind of esoteric or occult reading or experience. So this could be like you and your own delving into astrology or tarot, let's say, or maybe you see a tarot reader or a psychic or something like this. In any case, there is this profound opportunity to overcome certain blockages and limitations. And there's this invitation for you as Geminis, or for us, to transcend to the next level and experience a deeper degree of self-healing and self-understanding. So Gemini, that's all I have for you for July 2024. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content on the channel, please hit the subscribe button. And now let's move on to Cancer. Okay. Cancer sun, moon, and risings. As I'm filming, it is your season, so happy birthday to all you Cancer suns out there, and happy Cancer season to rising suns and moons all together. It will be Cancer season till around the 22nd of July, so enjoy it while it lasts. The sun being in your sign can indicate that you are experiencing renewed health, vitality, feeling more determined, feeling more charming and charismatic, and perhaps if you are a Cancer sun, there could be some kind of important career project or opportunity that comes your way. If you are a Cancer moon, this could be a really pivotal and healing time in your family relationships, or there could be something important happening within your household. And if you're a Cancer rising, well, this is just your time to shine. Okay, so on the 2nd of July, Neptune is going to station retrograde in Pisces in your 9th house at 29 degrees. This is the first time ever that Neptune will be going retrograde at 29 degrees. So it'll be at 29 degrees until the 4th of September, and it will be direct once more, 27 degrees Pisces in early December. So normally I wouldn't really bother mentioning it, but the 29th degree is the critical degree. It is the anaretic degree. So there may have been something that you've been experiencing confusion about, maybe since early May when Neptune first got to 29 degrees. And this could be related to 9th house themes, religious views, spiritual views, world views, political ideologies, your ethics, your moral code, or this could be to do with travel plans, education and higher learning, perhaps legal matters, or maybe just your life path and your vision for your future. So this is a time where, you're going to be gaining clarity about these things, but you may have to overcome a series of, let's say, emotional events first. I don't want to say emotional disturbances, but look, I'm not going to lie, 29 degrees, Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces has been hitting a lot of people where there's something that they want to achieve and they want clarity on something, but being able to move forward seems to hinge on external environment factors or someone else. And it's like you can't move forward until certain other things have fallen into place. I digress. Just an hour or two later, Mercury in Cancer in your 1st house is going to perfectly trine Neptune at 29 degrees. So this can indicate that around the 2nd of July, plus or minus a day, you may have an intuitive download when it comes to your life path, your worldviews, what you want to do with your travel plans, how you want to present yourself physically, how you want to come across, the kinds of first impression that you want to make on people, given that it's the 1st house. This can be you wearing your heart on your sleeve when it comes to 9th house matters. So, previously where you may have held back from sharing your religious, political, or spiritual beliefs, now you may feel inclined to just be really real with those, because if other people don't accept them, then this is a good litmus test for, well, I don't really want to be like investing in a connection with this person if they don't accept this really strong core part of me. So on a different level, this can indicate that you are becoming more personally involved in something of a spiritual nature or a religious nature. You could meet with a teacher, or someone could take you on as their pupil or their student, or it could be you who is deciding to teach. So there's something that could be, it's like this kernel of an idea is taking place. So you're understanding this is what I want to do, but maybe this won't really unfold in full until, let's say, early December, potentially. On the 5th/6th of July, there is going to be a new moon in Cancer in your first house. So this will be at 14 degrees. 14 degrees is the fixed star Sirius. So this is such a highly spiritual new moon. I'm actually very, very excited for it. It's right next to my Venus in Cancer. I've got a lot of stuff in Cancer. And so, for you Cancerians, this can be linked to planting the seeds for your life path. All right, what do I want to do? Who do I want to be? What are my spiritual values? How can I be of service spiritually? How can I help others? How can I heal others? How can I cultivate more love and compassion in my life? And on a different note, the first house is the physical body. So for some of you, this can indicate getting pregnant, especially if you are a Cancer around 14 degrees, plus or minus 3 to 5 degrees. More so if you're risings or moons, but there you have it. On a different note, this can be related to self-care. How do you treat yourself? How do you speak to yourself? How do you nourish yourself? Are you giving yourself everything that you need? Are you taking care of yourself the way that you do your loved ones, your spouse, your children, your mother, your father? All right. So this is about directing that nourishment and that self-care inwards. And this is very much needed for Cancers. On a different note, the first house is related to how you carry yourself and how you present. And 14 degrees is the Taurus degree. So this can indicate there being a prominent shift when it comes to your dress sense, hair, makeup, the jewelry that you wear or that you no longer wear. Or revealing something about your inner nature by what you adorn yourself with. So, for example, some of you may decide that you don't want to wear makeup anymore, you don't want to style your hair anymore, or if you're, let's say, religious, maybe you want to start wearing, the cross or whatever. Or if you have other beliefs, it's like you want to wear that on your sleeve. For me, I've got the owl here with the moon. So this is kind of like my spiritual witchy little thing. I digress. So this can absolutely lead to a spiritual awakening. All right. So again, this is around the 5th or the 6th of July, depending where you live in the world, plus or minus a couple of weeks. So look either side of the full moons in Capricorn for this. So it's a time for sudden spiritual insights, downloads, a spiritual awakening, receiving signs and synchronicities from the universe or from loved ones on the other side. Deep, deep, deep healing can take place. Compassion, forgiveness can wash over you for things that you thought you could never possibly get over or let go of. So it's about letting go of things that have been holding you back in this lifetime, or possibly lifetimes, plural. This can also give you the spiritual strength required and courage to make difficult decisions. And just remember that spiritual support is available to you, and you can absolutely transcend the current position and state that you are in. This support may come through, in a divine sense, in the unseen realms, or, if you need someone's help and support in a physical sense, cast out that intention, because this new moon is conjunct Venus, it's trine Saturn, it's sextile Mars and Uranus. There's a lot of support around you. You need only ask, Cancer. On the 15th/16th of July, Mars is going to conjunct Uranus in Taurus in your 11th house at 26 degrees. And guess what? It's going to make a sextile to the Sun in Cancer in your first house, which is super positive. Mars represents making decisions, taking action, being assertive and being proactive. And Uranus represents sudden turns, shocking twists and turns, unexpected happenings, as well as things happening prematurely. So with this conjunction occurring in your 11th house, this could be related to you and your community and your network. So you could be joining a new community or forming a new community. This could happen sort of spontaneously. For example, maybe a group of you like find yourselves hanging out at some kind of event, and next thing you know, you've like formed this fully fledged friendship group. This can indicate a time where you're perhaps purging certain social connections, saying goodbye to a community that you've been part of for a long time. Doesn't mean that, you're never talking to them again. Maybe, for example, you are relocating, and so you're having to say goodbye to a well-established community, even if you decide to stay in touch online. In any case, you'll be able to do this with ease. Something or someone is making this easier for you. You're able to see things clearly. On a different note, the 11th house is related to passive forms of income. So you could be investing in a long-term goal or project that will produce a passive form of income for you in the future. You could be investing in something important or receive a lump sum of money. With investors and benefactors, maybe someone is investing in you and making one of your long-term goals or dreams a reality somehow, like they're finally supporting you in some respect. You could be initiating something new when it comes to like a complicated interconnected project or a system. Maybe this will take a couple of years, given that Mars and Uranus form this conjunction every couple of years. Doesn't have to be. And yeah, it's like there's a sudden pivot or shift when it comes to your long-term plans and dreams, or maybe there's an opportunity for you to act on these quicker. There's some kind of window of opportunity. You need to strike while the iron is hot. That's the energy of this conjunction on the 15th/16th of July. On the 20th/21st of July, Mars is going to enter the sign of Gemini. So it will be transiting your 12th house for about 7 weeks till the first few days of September. Now, this can indicate a time where you are perhaps experiencing some isolation, going into retreat. Maybe this is a spiritual retreat, maybe a religious retreat, or visiting a far away place. For others of you, you could be deciding that it's finally time to visit a rehabilitation center. The 12th house is associated with creative work, so you could be working really hard on producing creative writing, poetry, or this could be something to do with acting in a film, photography, filmography, directing, etc. The 12th house is associated with charities and donations, so you could be putting a lot of energy and effort into this. The 12th house is associated with losses, or not just, doesn't have to just be losses, can be like big expenses. So Mars going through the 12th house can be a time where you are having to spend a lot of money, just making you guys aware. The 12th house is also associated with self-reflection and self-sabotaging behavior. So Mars in the 12th house can indicate that you're cutting that out. And lastly, Mars rules over the 5th house. So actually, no, there's 2 more points I want to make. Mars rules the 5th house, which is love and romance, and it also rules over the 10th house, which is career. So the ruler of the 5th in the 12th house can indicate having a secret love affair. Maybe you're keeping it private, you're not telling other people. This can even be a time where you are pregnant, because it's ruling over the 5th house, which is children, but you don't know about it because it's in the 12th house, or maybe you're the only one who knows about it, or maybe you've only told one other person, so you could be keeping it to yourself. Mars ruling the 10th and going into the 12th can indicate taking a break from your work or your career. And maybe it's for a holiday, it doesn't have to be, it can be any reason, let's say. Lastly, Cancer's on the 21st of July. There'll be a full moon in Cancer there'll be a full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees in your 7th house. So this is making an opposition to you. The Cancers who will feel it the most would be those around 25 to 29 degrees. But because it is the anaretic degree, the 29th degree, I think all Cancers will experience some kind of there'll be something notable, memorable about an interaction with another person. The seventh house rules over your romantic relationships, your business partnerships, friendships, let's say one-to-one services that you offer or that you engage in, as well as contracts and agreements. And it is a legal house as well. So you can finally come to an agreement, a decision is made. There's mostly supportive energy with this full moon in Capricorn, but there is a square from Mercury to Uranus. So there's still a challenge to overcome. But something here is decided with finality, whether this is, yes, I'm committing to this person, or no, I want to break ties. I want to walk away from this connection. It feels like a fate to a connection or a collaboration is being sealed one way or another. Like something is just finally, like, I would say written in blood, but it's like, this is it. This is the agreement, and maybe it'll take Pluto being in Capricorn around September, October to November to like have this come about, like have the outcome of this be actualized. But it just feels like decision-making time is around the 21st of July, plus or minus a couple of weeks. And so Cancer, that's all I have for you for July 2024. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. I'm now going to move on to Leo, but just a moment. I'm going to have some tea. Some almost cold tea, I might add. Okay, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Risings. On the 2nd of July, Neptune is going to station retrograde in Pisces in your 8th house at 29 degrees. Neptune goes retrograde once a year for just over 5 months, five and a half months. So, ostensibly it's not a big deal. However, this is the first time that Neptune will be retrograde at 29 degrees. This is the critical anaretic degree. So there could be some kind of confusion or situation that you have not had clarity on. And, this may have come up for you more so in a big way in early May when Neptune first got to 29 degrees, although it doesn't have to be. But ultimately, Neptune will be retrograde at 29 degrees until early September. Then it'll keep going until 27 degrees. I digress. It's in your 8th house. So this means that matters related to your mutual resources, intimacy, vulnerability, fears and insecurities, all of this stuff, or some of this stuff, could be bubbling up for you. This is also about letting go. This could relate to inheritances, taxes, debts, and even therapy or receiving some kind of healing information or just having like healing experiences. So you're being asked to purge something, to let something go, to overcome a certain fear or insecurity, to perhaps combine resources with another person. And Neptune is all about generosity and charity. So it could involve a degree of generosity or charity. But on a different note, it could be that, you're deciding that you have to walk away and like separate your resources with another person or from another person. So I'm not trying to make this sound scary or sinister. For many Leos, this will just be a time of deep healing and transformation and overcoming certain fears and blockages and, understanding your deeper motivations and proclivities. So on the 2nd of July, just an hour or two later, Mercury is going to trine Neptune. So it'll be Mercury in Cancer in your 12th house, trine Neptune in Pisces in your 8th house at 29 degrees. Look, the 12th house and the 8th house are very similar in nature. They are both associated with fears and insecurities. In saying that, and also healing. The 12th house is all about creativity, unconditional love, and compassion. And so this combination of Mercury trine Neptune can indicate that you are overcoming your fears, let's say creative fears, putting yourself out there, showing people what you've been working on, overcoming fears when it comes to romance and being vulnerable with other people. This can be healing on a deep level when it comes to some kind of trauma that you've experienced, or transforming beyond self-sabotaging behaviors. Certainly, this is a time where you can successfully overcome some kind of addiction as well. On a different note, this can indicate having or receiving some kind of positive intuitive guidance. So this could be through tarot, this could be, through an astrology reading or seeing a psychic. And on one note, this can be a message that's delivered to you through another person, or this could be your own intuitive guidance that you are channeling. On the 5th/6th of July, depending where you live in the world, there will be a new moon in Cancer, and this will be at 14 degrees in your 12th house. So the 12th house rules over things like retreats. So whether this is like a day spa, spiritual retreat, rehabilitation facility, or even going into isolation somehow. It rules over far and far away places. So the 12th house is one of the travel houses in astrology. It rules over creativity, as does the 5th house and the 2nd house. So, that's an element of this new moon. And ultimately, new moons are about a new chapter taking place, planting the new seeds for something. So this can indicate that you are starting some kind of creative work. Maybe this is creative writing or poetry, photography or filmography. Maybe you are visiting a faraway place. Maybe you are attending a retreat or hosting a retreat. It doesn't have to be at this moment. It could be that you're planting the seeds for this, especially as it's the new moon. So this could certainly just be like the ideas phase that you're in. This can indicate that you are wanting to participate in a charity or donate something or show some kind of generosity. This can also be receiving assistance, receiving charity or donations from someone or something. Certainly, this is a time for self-evaluation, self-reflection, and self-care as well. So this new moon in Cancer is going to be exactly conjunct the fixed star Sirius, and the new moon's also conjunct Venus. So somehow this, is involving love, romance, compassion, and, for some of you, this could be a new relationship that's taking off that you are keeping secret, or that you're keeping private, or you and your significant other could be making plans that you are keeping to yourself somehow, for some reason. I mean to say, in any case, this is such a highly spiritual new moon in the most spiritual house of the 12 houses in astrology. So I really, really feel that Leos are going to have such incredible intuitive downloads and have many spiritual awakenings across the board. On the 15th/16th of July, Mars will conjunct Uranus in Taurus in your 10th house at 26 degrees. And it's only making good aspects. There will be an opposition between Venus and Pluto, Venus in Leo and Pluto in Aquarius, but nevertheless, this conjunction in your 10th house is sextiling the Sun in Cancer in your 12th house, and it's sextiling Neptune in Pisces. So the 10th house is all about your career, titles that you hold, legacy that you want to create, position of leadership, etc. And so, Mars is all about being assertive, taking action, being decisive, making plans, being a trailblazer, showing incredible initiative and problem-solving abilities and having problem-solving skills. And Uranus rules over shocking change, twists and turns, rebellion, as well as community and like large groups of people, I mean to say. So this conjunction can indicate a need to strike while the iron is hot, taking a risk, maybe investing in your career, investing in yourself or the legacy that you want to leave behind. 26 degrees is the Taurus degree, so there may be an element of needing to procure certain resources or invest money to achieve certain goals and objectives. Look, some kind of crisis could occur in your workplace. There could be a shock announcement. Maybe your boss is quitting. Maybe you are suddenly asked to take on a position of leadership or responsibility that you feel unprepared for or unqualified for. Or maybe it's like, hey, we need you on this project. And you're like, I don't have the resources. Or maybe you will need to actually put other things on hold in order to take on this opportunity or responsibility. With Uranus ruling over your 7th house, maybe your plans with your significant other or other contracts or arrangements you've made with other people need to be put on pause in order for you to capitalize on this opportunity. With the conjunction sextiling the sun, which is your ruling planet in the 12th house, there could be a need for you to act on something stealthily behind the scenes, keep your cards close to your chest, not reveal too much information. Or maybe you're taking on like a mystery job, mystery application, mystery responsibility. And it's like, hey, will you do this job? We need you. And you're like, okay, what does it entail? And they're like, we'll tell you later. We'll tell you on the job. Okay, so there could be issues at work that you may need to address. Maybe you're witnessing some in-house fighting. Even if it doesn't involve you, you're just going to have to be very careful about how you play your cards. On a different note, the 10th house rules over your let's say irrefutable status. You're either unemployed or you're not employed. You're either married or not married, divorced or not. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, on paper, this is what you are. This is what would be accurate on a LinkedIn profile. So this can indicate there being changes to your relationship status. Career aside, yes, there could be some developments here where you get a promotion, a new job, you quit, whatever, but also your romantic status. So you could, around this time, be going through some kind of romantic relationship status change, which could be shocking, could feel premature. There could be a window of opportunity. You could actually go from being just casually dating to suddenly exclusive, and you're like, oh, this has come about very quick. There could be a surprise proposal or arrangement to get married. On a different note, some of you Leos may realize you have to act quickly in your love life. So for example, maybe you were admiring someone from afar and you're like kind of biding your time. You want to see if they're interested in you before you make a move. But then you find out that someone else has a crush on this person and you're like, oh my God, I need to ask them out before, this other guy asks them out or whatever. Just as a random hypothetical but ultra specific example. Now, this can also indicate changes to, let's say, some kind of legal status. This could be to do with your citizenship, permanent residency, visas, etc., especially because Mars rules over the 9th house. So just be mindful of when you're traveling. There may be visas that you need to procure quickly or sudden things that you need to prepare before a travel trip. On a different note, be careful with run-ins with the law. This is a time where you could definitely, unfortunately, be fined or pulled up for illegal activity or behavior. Maybe you're traveling overseas and you just don't know like the laws of where you are, and you accidentally break a law and then you're being pulled up for it. So yeah, just be careful of rebellious behavior, quote unquote, Uranus stuff. So next, let's have a look at Mars entering Gemini. So this will be on the 20th or the 21st of July, depending where you live in the world. So Mars will enter Gemini in your 11th house. It'll be there for about 7 weeks till early-ish September. I like Mars in the 11th house because this is a time where you'll be goal-oriented, passionate, determined to start new initiatives. You can be hyper-focused on your long-term goals and dreams. You can have increased problem-solving abilities, but do be careful when it comes to arguments with friends, arguments with older siblings online. Watch your temper online. Mars rules over your 9th house and your 4th house. So this can indicate, offending people with your strong-worded political beliefs or your world beliefs in general. So just, watch how you are communicating at this time, because you may come off more aggressive than you intended, if at all. Okay, so in a nutshell, this can be a time where you are making new friends, actually working on expanding your social network further, working with a community, maybe joining a community or forming some kind of new community. You can be actualizing and bringing to fruition some kind of long-term goal or dream, working on potentially generating a new passive form of income, raising money, or getting people to invest in you somehow. And some of you could decide that you want to start up a social media platform or expand your social media presence somehow. Now, on the 21st of July, there will be a full moon in Capricorn in your 6th house at 29 degrees. It's making really good aspects, but we do have Mercury in Leo in your 1st house squaring Uranus in Taurus in your 10th house. So anyway, the 6th house rules over work, health, habits, routines, and pets. Basically, this can indicate that a conclusion is reached, some kind of decision is made, the end of a difficult chapter or cycle is occurring. It's not without a bit of flair and drama with the Uranus-Mercury square. Could still certainly be a challenge to overcome, because 29 degrees is the critical degree, it's the anaretic degree. So again, this could be related to something to do with your health, so just getting that under control, or just being very proactive about your health and fitness regime. The 6th house is all about your work and your day-to-day habits as well, and like I said, pets too. So all of this stuff, or some of this stuff, could be at the forefront of, let's say, your mind, or what you're focusing on around the 21st of July, plus or minus a week or two. Lastly, Leo, on the 22nd of July, the sun is going to enter the sign of Leo, which means Leo season begins. So happy birthday to all you Leo suns, and happy Leo season to all of you Leo suns, moon, and risings. This is, of course, your regular Leo season, time to celebrate. So this is about feeling more charismatic, confident, attractive, shining brightly. Not everyone, can't speak for everyone, but Leo season across the board, whether you're a Leo or not, is usually a time for socializing and fun and frivolity. So again, enjoy your Leo season. Leos, if you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. And I will see you guys next month. Okay, we're going to do Virgo in just a moment. I really wanted to keep this to like under 4 hours, but it doesn't look like that's happening. Okay, Virgo, sun, moon, and risings. Welcome to your July horoscope. I myself am a Virgo moon, so I do love to do the Virgo horoscope. Now, Virgos, on the 2nd of July, Neptune is going to station retrograde in Pisces in your 7th house at 29 degrees. Neptune goes retrograde for a bit over 5 months every year, so it's no big deal, but I'm mentioning it because this will be the first time it's ever stationed retrograde at 29 degrees, and 29 degrees is the anaretic degree, it's the critical degree, it has a bit of drama, it has a bit of flair to it. So basically, Neptune has been retrograde since at 29 degrees since the first few days of May this year. So because it's in your 7th house, this can indicate that there may have been some kind of confusion or uncertainty that is related to perhaps a romantic relationship, whether that's current or an ex, a business partnership or collaboration, friendships, maybe the one-to-one services that you offer if you're in business, or maybe there's just like some kind of contract or arrangement or just decision to be made that involves another person, maybe even a legal matter where there's just been no clarity, there's been no way to move forward. Perhaps you've just had to exist in suspended limbo land, and this could have been quite troubling, especially to Virgos who love to plan. In terms of this retrograde, I really think that whatever it is you're experiencing, it could take the next 5 months to sort out, or it could, let's say the decision or the action could be taken up during that time. But the good news is on the 2nd of July, a couple hours or so after Neptune goes retrograde, Mercury in Cancer, which is Virgo's ruling planet, will trine Neptune at 29 degrees. So to me, this indicates an opportunity to get a bigger understanding of the relationship that you're dealing with or the problem that you are experiencing with another person when it comes to contracts or relationships. On a different note, this can indicate that there's positive movement with, let's say, investors in a business deal or collaboration, getting more clarity on your long-term plans with another person, whether that's, a business partner or a romantic relationship. This can indicate having more, let's say, of a clearer idea of what services you can offer to your community or how to get involved with a community or perhaps even form one. This can indicate an opportunity to present online or connect with someone online in a collaborative way. So you may receive some kind of offer to showcase your gifts and your talents. And on a different note, you may just receive really, really helpful, positive advice from a friend. And this could be with respect to another friendship, or this could be business advice or advice related to your romantic relationship. On the 5th/6th of July, there will be a new moon in Cancer at 14 degrees in your 11th house. It will be conjunct Venus at 22 degrees. It's making other positive aspects as well. So new moons are all about planting the seeds of a new chapter that you want to bring into your life, or there's like an opportunity there that's perhaps offered to you, even if you're not the one initiating it. And to me, when I look at this for Virgos, it's all about the 11th house. So somehow this is related to your long-term goals and dreams, generating a new passive form of income or increasing your passive or residual forms of income. This can indicate expanding your social network, making new friends, joining communities, perhaps forming communities as well. And if you have a social media platform or an online presence, this can be you wanting to perhaps take that in a new direction. And somehow you're meeting spiritual, like-minded individuals, you're aligning with them, or something that you are bringing to the table will be rooted in strongly held spiritual values. And I say that because the new moon is conjunct Sirius, which is the most spiritual fixed star. So again, this is the 5th/6th of July, and this energy will be present for 1 to 2 weeks either side of the new moon. So, from full moon to full moon, like in between there. Now, on the 15th/16th of July, Mars and Uranus are going to form a conjunction in your 9th house at 26 degrees. It's pretty much only making good aspects. It's sextiling the sun in Cancer. It's also sextiling Neptune in Pisces. But in saying that, there will be an opposition between Venus and Pluto at this time, which could be causing a bit of tension. In any case, with this happening in your ninth house, it's related to ninth house themes, belief systems, higher learning, teachers, the law, legal matters, and perhaps travel as well. It'll play out differently for different Virgos, so just take it as it resonates. And for more information, you can, of course, watch your sun, moon, and rising, so you can watch all three to get a really well-rounded idea or picture of what you can expect. Nevertheless, when it comes to your belief systems, first of all, Uranus rules over shocking change as well as sudden downloads of information, because it is a higher octave of Mercury. And then Mars represents taking action. It represents being assertive, making plans, and just being a trailblazer. So it can indicate that Virgos are having some kind of pivotal shift in their belief systems. So this can be religious, this can be spiritually, this can be worldviews, political ideologies, how you believe the world works, whether you believe in higher powers, whether you're an atheist or agnostic or what have you. There can be a sudden 180 that occurs, or you may just feel inspired to take action that is in alignment with whatever your higher belief system is. You may be faced with some kind of moral dilemma or something which kind of challenges your ethical code. Now, because the ninth house rules over the law and legal matters, you may have to contend with something that comes up unexpectedly. Maybe this is like a fine or a penalty, especially because it's at 26 degrees, which is the Taurus degree. On a different note, with the ninth house ruling over higher education as well as teachers, you may be investing in pursuing a higher level of education or studying something. Maybe it's astrology, because it is conjunct Uranus, which rules over astrology. You could be deciding to teach something. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to get involved with a teacher or for you to step into the role of teacher. In any case, the conjunction to Uranus represents a window of opportunity, something coming up out of the blue, having to act in the moment, which may feel premature to you, or it's just like, well, yeah, this experience is great, but I would have liked for it to come about later, like not right now. Maybe it feels rushed or too soon, but it's like now or never sort of thing. On a different note, with the ninth house ruling over travel, there may be unexpected and perhaps shocking changes to your travel plans, where it's like, okay, now I need to stay longer in this country, or I want to extend my trip, and maybe this caught you off guard. You may have to spend money unexpectedly, and maybe this is like, you thought you had a flexible ticket, and then when you go to change your flight, you're hit with some kind of additional expense. You may just initiate travel plans unexpectedly. Maybe someone invites you somewhere and you're having to make changes to your pre-existing plans in order to make it happen. And with Uranus ruling over your sixth house, maybe this is like, okay, I need to get time off of work, or I'm going to need to organize someone to look after my pets or something like this. On the 20th/21st of July, Mars is going to enter the sign of Gemini for the first time in, let's say, a couple of years. So it will be transiting your 10th house for about 7 weeks until early September. So wherever Mars goes, this is where we're putting in energy and time and effort. So the 10th house is about your career, your title, leadership, and legacy that you want to leave behind. So Mars going through the 10th house can indicate that you're working very hard on your career. Maybe you're setting new career goals. Maybe your boss has given you some projects to sink your teeth into, which are going to require a lot of energy and effort from you. Maybe even if you're self-employed, you're just taking on more responsibilities. This can indicate working extra hard to attain some kind of promotion, Worst case scenario, fighting with a boss, fighting with a superior, getting in trouble for something. When Mars is in Gemini in the 10th house, this is definitely a time where you can be pulled over for speeding, or just receive some kind of driving offense, or like ticket infringement or whatever. So just be really careful on the roads, because your actions are more visible. This can indicate a time where you are experiencing changes to your to the status of your relationship. This could be business, but this could also be your romantic status as well. And maybe things are moving really quickly. Maybe there are some surprises here, or, you're having to make, maybe you and your partner are going into business together. That's another way that could play out. So again, this is a 7-week transit. In any case, Mars going through the 10th house indicates a time where you can be solving issues at work, and where, a lot of effort and courage and energy will be required of you to put into your career. And yes, some of you may be deciding to walk away from an industry or from a job. And lastly, this can indicate having or not seeing eye to eye with one's father or certain authority figures. So do just be mindful of that. Lastly, for you Virgos, on the 21st of July, there will be a full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees in your 5th house. For the most part, this full moon is making only positive aspects. In saying that, there is a square between Uranus and Mercury. So Uranus in Taurus and Mercury in Leo. Mercury is the planet that rules over Virgo. So this does impact you. In any case, the 5th house rules over owning your own business, your love life, your romantic life, children, your creative gifts, talents, and hobbies, as well as like leisure time and having fun. So for lots of Virgos, they struggle to have fun because they have Capricorn here in the 5th house. That's why. That's why us Virgos are the way that we are. But in any case, this full moon is making really positive aspects. So some obstacle is being overcome, some self-limiting belief system is being overcome, some kind of long, tightly held, let's say, rigid ideas about love, romance, children, owning one's own business, and your own creative abilities is being overcome. So it's about letting go of these. This can indicate a time where some of you Virgos may be getting pregnant with this trine to you at 29 degrees. Maybe this has been like a really long journey. Maybe you are changing your mind about whether you do want children or not. Maybe you thought you did want to be a parent and you're like, no, it's not for me. For others of you, this can be a time where you are launching a business or launching something creative that has taken a lot of energy and effort to reach this point. There may be fears at the last moment, or like a problem or a challenge to overcome at the last moment. For others of you, you could be walking away from your business, which may be a difficult decision for you. In any case, I think that the 21st of July, plus or minus a couple of weeks, will be an emotional time for you when you think about or when you come up against, let's say, questions about these 5th house topics: your love life, your romantic life, your family, those children, your creative gifts and talents. But there's a big breakthrough. There's a huge breakthrough on the other side of this. So it's about, not throwing the towel in until you've explored all opportunities. Leave no stone left unturned in this department. So Virgo, that's all I have for you for your July horoscope for 2024. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next month. I'm now going to take a quick break for about 10 minutes before I come back and resume with Libra, and I'll do the remaining 6 signs. But I just wanted to say thank you so much, Mrs. Holland, for your really generous donation. That's really lovely. And thanks to all of you who are here watching live and supporting me in the chat. I recognize many of your handles, and it's always nice to have the support here as I'm doing the readings. So anywho, I will be back in about 10 minutes, give or take. Bye. Hey everyone, I am back. Thank you so much for your patience. Having these little breaks allows me to recharge a little bit, have a little snacky snack because I'm a Taurus, and then, be rejuvenated for the next 6 signs. So, Libra, Sun, Moon, and Risings, welcome to your July forecast. First off, we're looking at Neptune stationing retrograde in Pisces on the 2nd of July. So this will be taking place in your 6th house at 29 degrees. Ordinarily, I wouldn't even bother mentioning Neptune retrograde transits because they happen every year like clockwork, and they go for about 5 or so months. So the reason why I'm mentioning it this time around is because Neptune will be retrograde at 29 degrees. And this is the first time Neptune's been retrograde at 29 degrees. And this is the critical degree. It is the anaretic degree. So anytime a planet hits that 29 degrees, there can be some kind of crisis that we are experiencing. And with Neptune's influence, it's perhaps a lack of clarity, not being able to move forward with a decision, not knowing which way to go. It's like it feels like something is amiss in one's life, or that, we can't take action even if we want to take action because what we want to do hinges on other people's preferences or perhaps environmental circumstances. So again, this is in your 6th house. So this could be bringing up questions related to your work life, your day-to-day, your health, your habits, routines, things to do with your pets, or trying to overcome certain challenges or conflicts. So there may have been some kind of situation that you've been dealing with for the last few months, perhaps maybe since early May when Neptune first got to 29 degrees, where you're just not sure what the outcome is going to be or what direction to go in. I do think that you will have answers and clarity by the time Neptune is direct again in early December. But in any case, an hour or so later, we're going to have Mercury in Cancer in your 10th house, making a perfect trine to Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces in your 6th house. So this can indicate that even though you may not know how you're going to achieve what you want to achieve, there may be some kind of intuitive guidance or download that you have where you receive some kind of confirmation that you are on the right track. And again, this could be related to your work, your day-to-day life, your habits, routines, something to do with health, something to do with your pets, or overcoming some kind of challenge or conflict. Or this could be related to your career. So your path in terms of work, your career trajectory, and so on and so forth. You could even be receiving some kind of helpful advice when it comes to work or health related matters. Now, on the 5th/6th of July, there will be a new moon in Cancer at 14 degrees, and this is going to be in your 10th house. So new moons are all about planting the seeds for something new, setting new intentions, starting a new chapter. And this particular new moon is going to be exactly conjunct Sirius, which is the most spiritual fixed star that we have. So this can indicate that you are making certain decisions with respect to your career, whether this is a decision to invest in pursuing a certain path or direction or industry. Maybe you want to become self-employed. Maybe you want to perhaps go from being full-time to part-time or casual. Maybe you want to start trying to take steps to get out of one industry and into another industry. If you've been out of the workforce for quite a while, this can indicate that you are finally feeling prepared to wade back into it. And, the opposite could be true as well. Maybe you're deciding that it's time to hang up your working boots and leave the workforce altogether. The 10th house is associated with our status just in general. So this can indicate that your relationship status is changing on a romantic level, or perhaps important business relationships are going to be changing. On a different note, you could be finding out that your workplace is going through some kind of restructuring process, or perhaps merging with another company. The 10th house is also very much associated with parenthood. So this could indicate that you are deciding that the time is right to start moving in that direction, whether this is becoming a parent for the first time, expanding a family, or maybe you're looking at options that involve, let's say, IVF or surrogacy or adoption, especially because the 10th house is associated with legal matters. So there's a legal element to that that's being incorporated there. Even, moving away from this like material discussion surrounding status and relationship and your let's say career profile. The 10th house is also associated with the highest level of responsibility or achievement that we can attain in our lifetime. And that is why it's very much associated with legacy. So this new moon in your 10th house can indicate that you could be having some very, very profound realizations when it comes to what kind of legacy you want to leave behind. Even if it's going to take you years to achieve what you want to achieve, there could just be more clarity when it comes to your broader vision for the future, for your future. Okay, now on the 15th/16th of July, depending where you live in the world, Mars is going to form a conjunction with Uranus, and this will be in your 8th house at 26 degrees. For the most part, this is only making positive aspects, yay. But in saying that, Venus will be in opposition to Pluto, all right? So there is some kind of like power struggle that could be going on alongside this conjunction. I digress. Mars is all about strategizing, taking action, making plans, being bold and being assertive. And Mars in the 8th house can indicate cutting something out of our lives. Now, it also rules over setting goals and taking initiative, if I didn't say that already. Uranus represents shocking change, sudden upheavals, and also can indicate very, very extreme behavior and extreme action being taken. And the 8th house in and of itself is associated with transformation and, sudden change and upheaval as it is. So having this take place in your 8th house, and I reiterate, it is making positive aspects, like it's sextiling the sun in Cancer, it's sextiling Neptune in Pisces, but, having this take place can indicate that there are sudden changes or things that come up in your life that have just got to be dealt with now. And this could be associated with your mutual resources with another person. This could be related to taxes. This could be related to, shared investments, child support, alimony money, inheritances, if I didn't mention that already. And so it could be that you are like, I need to either combine my resources with someone, and it could be unexpected that you are having to, pull certain finances or resources together, or it could be that you have to pay some kind of like fee to someone, or you need to help someone out financially, and this could come up out of the blue, even if you're on board with it. And for others of you, you may decide that you really want to just separate your resources with another person, separate your money, or just pull out of an investment that you had with another person. And on a different note, this can indicate overcoming fears and obstacles and insecurities. So this can indicate for some of you going through a period of deep healing and deep transformation as well. And you could be like receiving some kind of initiation into, let's say, deeper layers to occult topics, mystical matters, and esotericism as well. Be curious to hear if that happens to any of you. Feel free to drop me a comment. Now, on the 20th/21st of July, Mars is going to enter the sign of Gemini. It will be transiting your 9th house for about 7 weeks till early September. So that means Mars is trining you. Yay. Okay, so this can indicate that you are proactively seeking out new cultural experiences, learning about, let's say, different cultures, wanting to achieve a higher level of learning and understanding of something. This can indicate that you may be investing money, given that Mars rules over your 2nd house, into your education. You could be going on some kind of pilgrimage or spiritual journey. For others of you, you could be really challenging your own belief systems to come up with a new way of viewing the world that makes sense to you. So maybe you are sort of like going through the archives of the things that you've been taught, whether this is religion-based or just in school or to do with history, and you're just trying to make sense of it all. So this can be a time of deep research. And for some of you, you may be looking at generating a new stream of income via import and export. And for others of you, you could be seeking out some kind of publishing contract or publishing deal. In any case, Mars through the 9th house indicates a time where you have this huge appetite and thirst for knowledge, and you're able to learn things very, very quickly. And there may be opportunities that come through to gain experience and knowledge through hands-on learning and training. Now, on the 21st of July, there will be a full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees in your 4th house. And this particular full moon is making basically all good aspects. There is a square between Uranus and Mercury, so Uranus and Taurus and Mercury and Leo, that is occurring simultaneously. Nevertheless, there's a lot of supportive astrology here. The full moon at 29 Capricorn is making a perfect sextile, 29 degrees to Neptune in Pisces. So this indicates this ability to transcend beyond, let's say, a certain level of emotional difficulties, disturbances, perhaps even trauma that you didn't think was imaginable. And I say that because 29 degrees is the critical degree, it's the anaretic degree. And so, it's like there's this huge challenge that is presented in your life where you realize that if you don't make different decisions now, you're always going to hang on to this. So the trine from the full moon to Neptune is like, I let go, I forgive, I'm healing, and I'm just fully embracing it. And it may feel like this comes from elsewhere. It's like, not to get all woo-woo, but it's almost like the spiritual nudge and push is so strong for you to just transcend your current set of belief systems and your existing family dynamics, because this is the difference between you holding on to this forever and having some semblance of chance at carving out a new path for you that is not impacted by the childhood that you had or the family that you have or still have any longer. Okay, and this can also relate to your property and living circumstances. Even if you had the quote unquote perfect childhood or family or mother-child relationship, given that we're talking about the 4th house here, it could be that you have never felt settled in the place that you live or the people that you live with. There's always been some kind of inner restlessness or disturbance where you just feel constantly pushed to move on to the next place and the next place. And, the grass is always greener effect is often in place. And yet this full moon is allowing you to put down roots and actually feel safe in doing that, not feeling like you're one day going to have your current living circumstances threatened or encroached upon. So even if it's not playing out on these levels, Libra, this is a general reading. I just feel like something within you will be able to emotionally settle after this full moon has taken place, plus or minus a couple of weeks. So, let's circle back and see how you guys are feeling, early to mid-August. But I really do think that you'll be overcoming something that's been with you for a very long time. So Libra, that's all I have for you for your July 2024 horoscopes. If you enjoyed this reading, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. I'm going to move on to Scorpio in just a moment, but I did make a fresh tea, so let's hope I don't burn my mouth. It's hot. Alrighty, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Risings, welcome to your July 2024 forecast. On the 2nd of July, which is tomorrow, Neptune is going to station retrograde in Pisces in your 5th house at 29 degrees. Normally I wouldn't mention it because Neptune always goes retrograde for 5-ish months every year. But this is the first time it'll be retrograde at 29 degrees, which is the critical degree, it's the anaretic degree. And so it's worth mentioning. With Neptune having been at 29 degrees since early May, there may be something that relates to 5th house matters that has been troubling you, eluding you. You're not able to move forward, not able to let go, or there's sort of like no clarity here. So basically, this could be related to you owning your own business, something to do with your love life, your sex life, children, or whether this is about having children, the children that are in your life, or perhaps even students, or this could be about your creative gifts and your passions. I do think that over the course of the next 5 months, while Neptune is retrograde, you will be getting to the root of why you are experiencing certain hang-ups, setbacks, delays, or obstacles. And if you just haven't known which direction to move in related to some or more of these topics, again, I think you'll be getting clarity on those, and it could even come as soon as the first few days of September, because that's the point at which Neptune will get off 29 degrees. Anyway, also on the 2nd of July, 1 or 2 hours later, Mercury in Cancer in your 9th house is going to make a perfect trine to Neptune in your 5th house at 29 degrees. So now we're combining the topics of the 9th house and the 5th house together. There may be some kind of intuitive guidance that you receive from a teacher, from a mentor, or maybe someone who's overseas or from a different cultural background to you. This can indicate that you are maybe having an important conversation with your grandchildren, if you have grandchildren. So there could be some kind of breakthrough that takes place here. This can indicate that there's an awareness of what to do with a difficult decision that involves your children, if you have children, or perhaps your love life. This can even just be realizing what the bigger picture is, or what's part of the greater plan for you when it comes to these matters as well. So maybe you're deciding that you want to go through a period of not dating or being celibate, or just having a bit of time to yourself. This could be an opportunity for you to take up a travel opportunity or to learn something, because the 9th house is to do with education. So you could be investing in your education further, or just having some kind of conversation with someone that feels really, really supportive to you, and maybe they're giving you like a motivational talk about what to do with your business, or how to pursue your creative passions and your hobbies. And I don't know, just see this as like a conversation that really boosts you and your self-confidence somehow. On the 5th/6th of July, there will be a new moon in Cancer, and this will be at 14 degrees in your 9th house. And it is exactly conjunct the fixed star Sirius. So it's a very, very spiritual new moon. And again, we're looking at 9th house topics here because it is in your 9th house. The 9th house rules over religion, so your religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs, world beliefs, as well as your political ideologies. It even rules over your code of ethics, your moral code. So having the new moon in Cancer here can indicate that you are getting involved in, let's say, religious practice or some kind of spiritual practice. You could be pairing up with a teacher or a mentor, or you could actually be stepping into the role of teacher, mentor, or counselor somehow. This can indicate that you are wanting to start some kind of course, maybe enroll in a degree or a master's program. And for others of you, you could be planning a very important travel trip. Again, new moons are about planting the seeds. It's not necessarily about taking action immediately. So, even with education, it could be that you're doing the preliminary research, you're making an application, and you're investing in the course, even if it's not going to start for however long, The 9th house is also connected to publishing, import and export, as well as the law. So you may be getting involved with import and export. You may have written a book that you're looking to get published. So you could be striking up a deal with another person, or you could be initiating legal proceedings. And I just want to say there's really a lot of supportive aspects to this new moon. It's conjunct Venus, it's trine Saturn, it's sextile Mars and Uranus. So, I don't see this as a difficult full moon. Yes, Pluto's opposite Mercury in Leo, but, for the most part, there's a very high caliber of spiritual supportive energy that is supporting it. So whatever seeds or intentions you plant around the 5th, 6th of July, I have no doubt that they can produce really positive fruit later on, so to speak. Okay, so on the 15th/16th of July, depending where you live in the world, Mars, which is your ruling planet, is going to form a conjunction with Uranus in Taurus in your 7th house at 26 degrees. So again, this is only making positive aspects. It's sextiling the Sun in Cancer, it's sextiling Neptune in Pisces, in saying that Venus is opposite Pluto. You don't need to remember all of these transits. I'm just sort of laying it out for you. In any case, it's happening in your 7th house, right? The conjunction, but it involves Mars, which is your ruling planet. So this can indicate the action that you are taking or initiating with respect to your relationships with other people. The 7th house rules over romantic relationships, business partnerships, friendships, plus the one-to-one services that we offer or that we engage in. It rules over contracts and agreements, as well as legal matters. Okay, the 7th house is one of the legal houses, so is the 9th house, so is the 6th house. So Mars represents taking action, being assertive, making plans, making decisions, being bold as well, being a trailblazer. And then Uranus represents shocking change, sudden upheaval, unexpected events, rebellion, as well as things happening that seem premature. So I'm not saying this is negative. I'm not saying it's, positive. It'll depend on your personal chart, how it plays out. Although I do want to reiterate, there is a lot of positive astrology to support it. But basically, this can indicate that you are making, or you will experience a sudden change in one or more of your relationships. So this could be friendships, business partnerships, romantic relationships. You could be forming contracts or agreements with other people. You could be breaking contracts as well, or someone could be breaking contracts with you. If you're already in a romantic relationship, this can see you taking things to the next level. You could be shooting your shot with someone, asking them out. Could be with a friend. Uranus does rule over friendships. So for others of you, maybe you're casually seeing someone and, around the 15th, 16th of July, you have the where is this going conversation and things could take off really quickly. Even if you've only been seeing this person for a really short period of time, it can just be like, I know, what are we waiting for? Let's move things along. On the 20th/21st of July, Mars is going to enter the sign of Gemini in your 8th house for the first time in about 2 years. Again, Mars is your ruling planet. Wherever it goes, whatever it's doing, this represents you and the energy and the effort that you are putting into something. So this indicates your preoccupation or your attention being on 8th house matters for the next 7-ish weeks. So this is until the first few days of September. So this can indicate that you are combining your resources with another person. You may be, investing in something together, joining your finances or resources, trying to raise money somehow. You and your partner could be drawing up inheritances or working out certain end-of-life directives. Just being proactive. I'm not trying to foreshadow anything. It's just that the 8th house is concerned with like death and taxes and inheritances. And so, Mars in the 8th house can be dredging up these conversations like what happens in this case? What happens if we experience this crisis? I just want to be prepared. So there's like a preparatory sort of energy with Mars going in the 8th house. On a different note, you may be splitting your resources off from another person. So this can indicate that, you're no longer sharing a bank account, you're selling your investments off together, or maybe you're just dealing with a financial advisor. You just want to be proactive, perhaps with Mars in the 8th house. This can indicate that you are wanting to pursue child support money or alimony money. So you could be speaking to the person in question or getting your solicitor to do so to try and pursue that particular outcome. The 8th house is very much about transformation and healing. So some of you Scorpios could be pursuing a new healing modality, working with a therapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, to get to the root cause of certain obstacles or self-limiting belief systems or behaviors that you're exhibiting. The Mars likes to be in the 8th house because Mars rules over the sign of Scorpio, and so it already has this 8th house association and influence anyway. So, Mars performs very, very well here indeed. This can indicate a time where you are able to cut out certain addictions or habits or behaviors that are not serving you. This can indicate taking action, even in the face of, being afraid of something. So confronting certain fears. This can indicate taking your interest in occult topics and esoteric topics and research to a much deeper level. So you can experience some kind of huge breakthrough in that capacity, whether you're doing this personally, like your own research, or maybe you just have like a really profound reading with someone who is trained in these areas. Now, on the 21st of July, there will be a full moon in Capricorn, and this will be at 29 degrees in your 3rd house. It will be conjunct Pluto and in Aquarius at 0 degrees and perfectly trining Mars at 0 degrees Gemini. There's a lot of supportive astrology to this full moon. I won't go into it all, but I will say it is forming a perfect sextile to Neptune at 29 degrees. And ultimately, again, this is in your 3rd house. And full moons are all about something reaching a conclusion or reaching a peak, and it's illuminating something to you or for you. Because it is at 29 degrees, which is the critical degree, it's the anaretic degree, there will be some kind of challenge or hurdle to overcome. But in any case, the third house rules over writing, communications, short-term travel, social media, qualifications, certificates, certifications, licenses, etc., as well as siblings, extended relatives, friends, and neighbors. So this can indicate that some of you are completing a writing project, completing a communications piece, maybe a documentary or a podcast. Maybe you're building and launching a website or launching a new social media platform or expanding your presence further. This can indicate having an incredibly important, illuminating conversation with another person. And perhaps this is with a sibling, an extended relative, a friend, or a co-worker, maybe a client. Doesn't have to be, but it's kind of like the conversations that you're having around the 21st of July, plus or minus 1 to 2 weeks, they're helping to move you forward and to understand a mindset that is no longer working for you. So there's this invitation for you to have this enormous mindset shift, perspective shift, and overhaul in the way that you think, in the way that you communicate, and perhaps even in the kinds of content that you are consuming, whether this be the books that you are reading, the accounts that you follow, or even the music that you are listening to. Something has to give with this full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees, because there's just a certain communication style or relationship that's not working for Scorpios anymore. So this dynamic needs to change, whether it's with you and another person or people, or it's like how you communicate and how you express yourself is going to be shifting to this higher octave, this higher level. And maybe there are certain fears that you have when it comes to expressing your true opinion of things, or showcasing what it is that you're actually interested in. Some of you may be completing a very, very important communications piece or written piece, and there's maybe like this last little push around the 21st of July before it's complete, and maybe there is a bit of fear before you actually release that out into the world. So Scorpio, that's all I have for you for July 2024. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in August. Okay, so Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and risings. On the 2nd of July, which is tomorrow, Neptune is going to station retrograde in Pisces in your 4th house at 29 degrees. Neptune goes retrograde for over 5 months every single year, like clockwork. Is it a big deal? No. Is it worth mentioning? Yes. And that is because this is the first time that Neptune will ever be retrograde at 29 degrees Pisces. And 29 degrees is the critical degree. It is the anaretic degree. And so it's been at 29 degrees since early May. Perhaps there's some kind of problem that you haven't been able to resolve that's really been at the forefront of your mind since then. And this would surely be related to 4th house matters, which is where Neptune is. So maybe this is to do with your family dynamics, relationships with family members or people that you live with, trying to understand something from your childhood or make peace with something from your childhood. This could be concluding something that relates to your mother or your relationship with her. The 4th house also rules over your emotional world as well as your property and living circumstances. So to me, it looks like there's been something holding you back from achieving what you want to achieve. Something has been acting as an obstacle, or it's just in your way. And it's like you want to move forward, whether that's with family, you want to relocate, you want to, do something with your property and living circumstances, but you just haven't been able to. There's been something that has just gotten in your way. And in terms of this transit, I think that you can get clarity, perhaps more so around early September, when Neptune gets off the 29th degree and goes back to 28 degrees, or it may even take you until December, when Neptune is direct once more. Now, on the 2nd of July, the same day, just 1 or 2 hours after Neptune stations retrograde, Mercury in Cancer in your 8th house will be making a perfect trine to Neptune in Pisces in your 4th house, both at 29 degrees. So now we're combining the 4th house themes with the 8th house, okay? But just remember, trines are beneficial, harmonious, helpful aspects in astrology. We love to see it, is what I'm saying. So basically, this can indicate that there is some kind of positive forward movement or momentum when it comes to your mutual resources and your property and living circumstances. This can indicate receiving help from another person, combining your mutual resources, integrating your living quarters further. For others of you, this can indicate having a healing, transformational impact. Healing. Let me start again. You can have a healing and transformational conversation with your family, so a family member or someone that you live with, or perhaps even just a sudden download or realization when it comes to how to heal from certain childhood experiences or overcome difficult family dynamics. This can indicate understanding how you are going to proceed with decisions that relate to your property and living circumstances. Even if you're not making them now, it's like, okay, well, at least we have a plan in place. On the 5th/6th of July, depending where you live in the world, there will be a new moon in Cancer at 14 degrees. This will be taking place in your 8th house. And new moons are all about a new chapter starting, planting the seeds, understanding what direction we want to go in, or just taking those first baby steps. It can even be as simple as setting the intention for what it is that you want to achieve. So again, we're looking at 8th house themes here. So this can indicate that the following topics are going to be coming up for you: your mutual resources, so investments that you have with other people, shared bank accounts, child support money, alimony money, even inheritance as well. So the money you would be receiving, or maybe drawing up inheritances, for yourself and your property and your assets, so to speak. The 8th house is related to occult topics and esoteric matters. So perhaps you were doing a deep dive into these, wanting to understand something further, learn something further. Maybe you're simply having a reading, the first of its kind. Maybe this is an aura reading, a tarot reading, an astrology reading. I do offer astrology and tarot readings, by the way. You can book via CAISTROLOGY.com. I digress. This can indicate that maybe you're just connecting with your own tarot deck. Maybe you're purchasing, or maybe you're coming into possession of a collection of runes or singing bowls or something like this, like something to do with a healing modality. And so you are being initiated into this further. You're doing a deeper dive into this. Or perhaps you are just doing a lot of deep research into a topic which is very important to you, which possibly is related to finances and resources, given that 14 degrees is the Taurus degree. But more likely, it's something which is in alignment or connecting to your higher self and your spiritual values. And I say that because this new moon is exactly conjunct Sirius, which is the most spiritual fixed star in astrology. So for others of you, this can indicate that you are taking steps towards becoming more intimate in your close personal relationships, or maybe with your partner. figuring out how to be more vulnerable with your significant other. And for others of you, perhaps a new sexual relationship will be starting. Now, on the 15th/16th of July, Mars and Uranus will be conjunct in the sign of Taurus, and this will be in your 6th house at 26 degrees. Okay, so the 6th house is related to health, work, so your day-to-day work life. It's also related to pets, habits, routines, and also just conflicts and challenges in general. So this conjunction in your 6th house indicates that there is some kind of movement here. There's a development happening on one or more of these levels or of these fronts. And it's largely positive in that this conjunction is sextile the sun in Cancer, and it's also sextile Neptune in Pisces at 29 degrees. But ultimately, this is about taking action, because that is what Mars rules over. It's making plans, it's taking action, it's being assertive and proactive. And, Mars has incredible powers, problem-solving capabilities, okay? And Mars does very well in the 6th house because the 6th house rules over conflicts and battles and challenges, and Mars is a fighter and a warrior. So Mars in your 6th house conjunct Uranus can actually represent coming up with an ingenious solution to a very difficult problem. And this can also indicate overcoming habits, let's say bad habits that you want to kick. Maybe these are saying goodbye to certain addictions, maybe smoking or vaping or whatever it is. And you can do this cold turkey. Mars conjunct Uranus is like, I've decided, and so mote it be, because Mars just has this decisive energy and Uranus just cuts things, and it's like instantaneous. I don't know, I was gonna start rambling, but I don't have time. I do like to ramble though. In a nutshell, it's like Uranus can allow you to separate from something or make peace with something or take the action required instantaneously without delay. You can get over things, let go of things, have the solution, have the epiphany. And it's like, now I know what to do. I know what the answer is. I know how to move forward. I know how to overcome this problem. I know how to heal myself. I know that I don't want to deal with this doctor. I know which one I do want to deal with. This can indicate a job opportunity coming up very suddenly or abruptly, and it's like you have to take the bull by the horns and strike while the iron is hot. But this, by the same token, can indicate that you don't want to do what you're doing anymore when it comes to work, and you're going to make the bold decision to walk away, and there may be pushback and it may shock other people, but such is the energy of a Mars-Uranus conjunction. Now, on the 20th/21st of July, Mars is going to enter the sign of Gemini in your 7th house, and it will be here for 7 weeks. You experience this transit once every couple of years, because that's how long it takes-ish for Mars to go through all 12 signs. So with Mars in the 7th house, this heavily impacts your one-to-one personal relationships, romantic, business, friendships, co-workers, clients, etc. It's a contracts house, so it rules over agreements, contracts, and even like giving your word to another person. And it also rules over one-to-one services that you either offer or engage in, and it is a legal house as well. So Mars can be antagonistic, it can be pushy and assertive, sometimes aggressive and agitated as well, but it's also very pragmatic and goal-oriented and super duper focused. So Mars going through your 7th house can indicate that you're working very hard with your significant other or a business partner on some kind of shared project together. Worst case scenario is arguments and disagreements with them. So, there can be more challenges in these relationships and connections, but the best way to channel this energy and overcome it is to start working out together, go on an adventure together, start some kind of new project together. So it's like working as a team and putting your energy and effort into something. On a different level, this can indicate that you are being very much pushed by your clients or co-workers, also clients, I would say, to come through with the goods and produce a certain caliber of work or content. And, Mars through the 7th house can indicate having to break up with someone. And I'm doing this because it doesn't have to be a romantic breakup. Maybe you have to break up with a client. Maybe you have to let them go. Maybe you have to break a contract. Maybe you have to let someone down or disappoint someone. Maybe this is the end of a certain business collaboration or partnership or even a romantic relationship. But, I don't want you guys to have that be the only takeaway. It can work the other way as well, in that the ruler of your 5th house is Mars. So ruler of the 5th house going in the 7th house can actually, for some of you, indicate that you are advancing in your romantic relationship. You are taking things to the next level. You're being assertive. You're putting a lot of effort into this relationship. That is another way that this can play out. And then lastly, for the month Sagittarius, on the 21st of July, there will be a full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees in your 2nd house. This is the 2nd full moon in a row that we are experiencing in the sign of Capricorn. The previous one was around the 21st, 22nd of June at 1 degrees. So with this particular full moon, it's making very positive aspects in that it is sextiling Neptune at 29 degrees. It's trining Uranus at 26 degrees, but it's conjunct Pluto. So there's like a heaviness to this, but Pluto is trine Mars. Okay, there is a spicy aspect occurring, and that is a square between Mercury and Uranus. But in any case, whatever the outcome is of this full moon, it's going to be positive. It'll be for your best and highest good. It will be supportive of you going forward in the future. But there may be some kind of hurdle or challenge that is associated with it. And this is to do with your finances and resources and your personal values. Okay, so you may have to spend more money than what you had anticipated. You may be having to procure certain resources or possessions or sell off certain possessions. You may be having to make some important changes to your diet, because the 2nd house rules over the food that you eat. The 2nd house also rules over your teeth and the lower part of your face, as well as your throat. So this is something connected to this full moon could be connected to speaking your truth. Just be mindful that this region may be vulnerable around the 21st of July, plus or minus a week or so. So, it may be worth being proactive about going to the dentist. You may be at risk of straining your voice or losing your voice. So just be mindful of that. But I do feel like there's a huge healing of your heart chakra your throat chakra that's going to be taking place around the 21st of July. I did mention your personal set of values. So there could be some very interesting realizations and epiphanies that are happening around this time. And you may have to have some difficult conversations with another person. And maybe these conversations are coming up a lot sooner than you had expected, or perhaps the nature of certain conversations goes sideways or in a direction that you weren't expecting. Again, I do think that the outcome will be overwhelmingly positive, but at first there'll be some kind of hurdle to overcome. So Sagittarius, that is all I have for you for July 2024. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Enjoy your month ahead, and I will see you guys next time. Now I'm going to move on to Capricorn, but first let me have a little break. So this is for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and risings. On the 2nd of July, which is tomorrow, Neptune is going to station retrograde in the sign of Pisces in your 3rd house at 29 degrees. Neptune goes retrograde every year for just over 5 months, so it's not really a big deal. But this is the first time that Neptune will be retrograde at 29 degrees. So in that way, it is. Neptune has been at 29 degrees since the first few days of May, so the last couple of months. There may have been something in your life, especially related to 3rd house themes, which has just been eluding you. You haven't been able to settle on it. This probably relates to siblings, relatives, maybe friends, co-workers, or your neighbors. So it could be important conversations that just haven't taken place yet, or you haven't been able to get on the same page as one of these aforementioned individuals. On a different note, this could be related to writer's block, having creative blockages that you haven't really been able to overcome. There may have been short-term travel trips that have been delayed or set back, or it's like you don't know when you can go on this trip. The 3rd house is also associated with vehicles and travel in general. So, maybe you're waiting on the outcome of buying a car or figuring out how you're going to get from A to B. And the 3rd house is also to do with, relates to school and education. So it could be that there are matters related to education or teaching or school that, you're just not sure which way the cookie's going to crumble. So Neptune will be retrograde until early December, so the next 5 months. So it may take this length of time for you to iron out some of these complications, or basically get clarity on them. In saying that, Neptune will get off 29 degrees in early September, so maybe that is when you can achieve some kind of resolution or receive more insight into your situation. 1 or 2 hours after Neptune stations retrograde, Mercury will be in Cancer in your 7th house and making a perfect trine to Neptune in your 3rd house at 29 degrees. So I see this as there being some kind of renewed sense of faith or hope that's being restored in your situation, even if you don't quite have the specifics laid out just yet. It's like, okay, well, at least I know what direction to go in, or I feel intuitively that I'm on the right path, even if I have to wait things out a little longer. This can indicate having an important conversation with a family member, especially because Neptune's in your 3rd house, which rules over siblings and extended relatives. So it's likely that it involves one of these individuals, or maybe a friend or a co-worker. This can indicate receiving support from one or more of these aforementioned individuals. Maybe someone in the workplace is helping you out around this time. On the 5th/6th of July, there will be a new moon in Cancer at 14 degrees in your 7th house. And this new moon is conjunct the fixed star Sirius, which is the most spiritual fixed star in astrology. The new moon is conjunct Venus, and it's making some other supportive aspects as well. It is actually trining Saturn in Pisces, which is your chart ruler, at 19 degrees. Anyway, I won't go into all the ins and outs of the aspects, but just know that there is some kind of benefic healing energy that is at play with this new moon in Cancer. And with this taking place in your 7th house, this is about setting new intentions or planting the seeds that you're wanting to grow when it comes to romantic relationships, whether this is meeting the right person or taking your romantic relationship to the next level. This can be to do with aligning with certain business partners or collaborating with like-minded individuals who share the same values as you, which are likely spiritual in nature. This can indicate having some kind of ongoing arrangement with a friend. So maybe the two of you want to study something together or learn something together. Maybe it's something creative in nature. This can indicate that you are becoming a lot closer and developing like a closer one-on-one friendship with someone who was maybe just an acquaintance before, or you just had more of a casual friendship or relationship. This can indicate that you are finding a way to offer certain services to other people. Maybe you're going to be monetizing these, or maybe you're just finding a way to help other people with your own natural gifts and talents. In any case, I see this as some kind of positive new chapter starting in one or more of your personal relationships. And of course, this new moon is opposing you as a Capricorn. So the Capricorns who will be the most affected would be those around 14 degrees plus or minus 5 degrees. Also, this can indicate for those of you who are in a romantic relationship that there's maybe a new chapter that's starting in the life of your significant other. And this will be something that's really healing for them, something that's really beneficial for them. So if they've been struggling in some area of their life, this can be, the dawn of a new era, or maybe you're just starting to see that they're turning a corner from this difficult chapter that they've been experiencing. Now, on the 15th/16th of July, Mars will form a conjunction with Uranus in Taurus, and this will be in your 5th house at 26 degrees. So it's going to be trining you, which we love to see. It's also making other positive aspects, such as sextiling the Sun in Cancer and sextiling Neptune in Pisces. Just a moment, guys. It always gets like this towards the end. So Mars rules over taking action, showing initiative, being assertive, being bold. And it's a very courageous planet. This is why it rules over warriors. This shows one's ability to act in the face of fear or challenges and really be able to overcome them. And like I said, this is trining you, okay? And this conjunction to Uranus represents something that's like unexpected that comes up. Now, the 5th house rules over love and romance, sex life, your children, if you have children, as well as owning your own business, your creativity, and your hobbies and passions. So this conjunction in your 5th house can indicate there being a sudden situation that arises with your child. So maybe they're having a breakthrough and you're understanding how to attend to certain needs. Maybe you feel like you suddenly understand what it is that they are wanting or why they're acting in a certain way. If they've been going through a difficult chapter in their life, maybe you've got children who are going through a developmental stage which has been tiring or difficult, or maybe even teenage children or adult children. This conjunction between Mars and Uranus can indicate a sudden breakthrough that takes place, or a sudden awareness of how to transcend one's existing situation in life. But, this could be precipitated by a little bit of drama, a little bit of flair. And I say that because that just is the nature of the Mars-Uranus conjunction. With respect to your love life, this can indicate that you may experience an unexpected advance from someone. So maybe someone asks you out, maybe someone catches you off guard, or the invitation takes you by surprise. With Mars ruling over your 11th house, this could be someone reaching out online, someone who's a part of like a community that you're involved in, or even a friend or a friend of a friend. In any case, this can indicate that there's maybe fireworks, maybe things take off really suddenly and unexpectedly, and you hit it off with this person, or you meet them under unusual circumstances. Even though this conjunction is trining you, worst case scenario is having maybe an explosive disagreement with your child or with your significant other. But like I said, ultimately it is trining you, and it is sextiling the sun and sextiling Neptune. So I feel that it's nothing that can't be overcome. For others of you, you may have a sudden download of information when it comes to a business idea, so wanting to start your own business or wanting to take your existing business in a certain direction. This can be the discovery of a certain creative gift or hobby, or passion of yours, or just understanding that you want to take it further, maybe even wanting to monetize it or make a living off of it. Now, on the 20th/21st of July, depending where you live in the world, Mars is going to enter the sign of Gemini. So it will be transiting your 6th house for about 7 weeks until early September. So wherever Mars goes, this is where we need to put a sustained level of attention and effort. And guess what? Mars is actually quite happy and well equipped to deal with the matters of the 6th house. So this can be, getting your self into line when it comes to health habits, your health in general, daily habits and routines. This can see you being very disciplined, very regimented and dedicated to a workout regime. This can see you being very proactive when it comes to health matters. The 6th house rules over pets. So this can see you perhaps wanting to, let's say, train your dog. All right. That's one way that this could work out. So this could be about disciplining pets, I'm not going to lie, or maybe looking at adopting pets. This is a time where your pet could be acting up. I just want to throw that out there. So just remember that there is an end to this transit, and that will be the end of September. But you'll just want to have a look at when Mars is actually in your 6th house, using house cusps. If that's a bit too complicated for you, ask an astrologer friend. Otherwise, don't worry about it. The 6th house rules over your work and your day-to-day job. So this could be a time where you are having to put in a lot more effort into work. Maybe you're having to stay back. Maybe there's a project that requires extra hours for you to actually complete. The 6th house rules over employees. So you could be looking at hiring people. You could be going through the vetting process. The most extreme way that this could play out is you could be deciding that you need to let go of an employee. But this really is a positive time when it comes for overcoming challenges in the workplace or in your day-to-day work life. Now, lastly, for the month, on the 21st of July, there will be a full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees, and this is going to be in your 1st house. So anytime there's a full moon in our 1st house, no matter what degree we're at, there's some kind of chapter that's coming to a close or even a head in our lives. Now, Capricorn, you guys had a full moon in Capricorn last month in June. So that was at 1 degree around the 21st or the 22nd of June. And this is the 2nd one. So I have no doubt that there's been some kind of peak experience, or maybe even crisis that you've had to deal with, or maybe it's just been a very, very busy time for you, or a time where you've had to make a lot of hard-hitting decisions in your life. The first house rules over our physical body, how we present ourselves, how we talk, act, speak, dress, etc. And it really represents us and the trajectory that we are currently on. Now, the full moon is making mostly positive aspects. It's sextiling Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces. It's trining Uranus at 26 degrees Taurus. But it is conjunct Pluto. Pluto is trining Gemini. I won't go into all the ins and outs. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. But the reality is this. There is some kind of chapter in your life that you are on the precipice of overcoming. And this could be to do with a physical ailment that you are in the process of healing or working on, a mindset, maybe a mindset shift is required. Maybe you are closing out a difficult chapter when it comes to your interpersonal relationships. Maybe you're overcoming certain fears and insecurities and blockages, but it's like the time is here to finally put those to rest. So you can certainly be overcoming something that you've been dealing with for a long time, or perhaps since the last full moon in Capricorn. With 29 degrees, just, I don't know, as a concept in astrology, I have noticed that there's usually some kind of crisis point or critical moment in time where it's like we have to overcome an obstacle or a blockage. But on the other side of this is an enormous breakthrough, a huge leveling up. And for some of you, this could be in how you relate to others, in your one-to-one relationships, or perhaps this is like how you speak to yourself, how you view yourself. And, I see a lot of Capricorns really breaking through the ceiling of self-limiting beliefs here. So Capricorn, that's all I have for you for July 2024. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please do hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in August. So now let's move on to Aquarius. Just a moment. I'm going to power through. Looks like we're going to be under 4 hours. Yay. Okay. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to your July horoscope. Let's start off by looking at Neptune stationing retrograde on the 2nd of July, which is tomorrow. So I'm currently filming. So Neptune goes retrograde every year for 5 months plus. It's not a big deal, but this is the first time that Neptune will ever have been retrograde at 29 degrees. So in that way, it is a big deal. 29 degrees is the critical degree in astrology. It is the anaretic degree in astrology. And like clockwork, if you look at transits, anytime any planet gets to 29 degrees, even Mercury, Venus, the Sun, whatever, there's always some kind of pivotal moment or situation which takes place. So we have been at 29 degrees Pisces since early May. And so in this way, perhaps there's been some sort of situation that has been eluding you, something you haven't been able to get clarity on, some situation that you've been wanting to change or transform, but it has just remained kind of stuck or stagnant, or you just don't know how to move it forward. With Neptune retrograde in your second house, this could be related to money, finances, resources, your possessions, perhaps something to do with your diet, feelings of self-worth, maybe even creative self-expression, or even your personal set of values, which, the second house also rules over. So Neptune will be retrograde until early December, but it'll get off 29 degrees in early September. So there may be some kind of reprieve around early September or early December. In saying that, 1 or 2 hours after after Neptune stations retrograde, Mercury in Cancer in your sixth house will be at 29 degrees, making an exact trine to Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces in your second house. So perhaps this is going to renew or restore your sense of faith or hope in a situation which previously seemed lackluster, destitute, or impossible, worst case scenario. And on a different note, this could be some kind of intuitive download when it comes to how to heal from a certain health ailment, how to improve your health situation, how to overcome a difficult problem at work, especially because Mercury is in the sixth house. This can indicate that you are going to experience a positive outcome with something to do with your pet or your pets. So it's like, even if you don't have the time frame locked into place, at least a decision may be locked into place, which is related to health, your pets, your work life, and your day-to-day habits, routines, and comings and goings. On the 5th/6th of July, there will be, depending where you live in the world, there will be a new moon in Cancer at 14 degrees, and this is going to be in your sixth house. It will be conjunct Venus, and it's making other positive aspects as well, like it's trining Saturn in Pisces, it's sextiling Mars and Uranus in Taurus, and both Saturn and Uranus are your ruling planets. So again, the sixth house rules over your health. It rules over your daily habits and routines. It rules over pets. It rules over work, like the day-to-day job that you do, the day-to-day work that you do. It also rules over employees as well as problems and, any kind of problem or conflict. 14 degrees is the Taurus degree in astrology. So there could be some kind of question over finances and resources here. But 14 degrees Cancer happens to be the fixed star Sirius. So this new moon is exactly conjunct the most spiritual fixed star in astrology, which portends such positive things when it comes to these sixth house matters. So you can experience a blessing on your health, a blessing on your daily habits and routines, the ability to overcome certain vices, or bad or poor habits that you want to kick, a blessing when it comes to the world of your pets and their health or what's going to happen with them. This can indicate a positive change of direction when it comes to your work life or perhaps your day-to-day job or your work-life balance. This can indicate getting the support and the help that you need in the way of subordinates or finding new employees if this has been an area that you have struggled in. And certainly if you've experienced ongoing problems and conflicts with another person, this can indicate, or it doesn't even have to be with another person, but this new moon in your sixth house can show you that there is a way to transcend this experience, to heal, to overcome problems and issues. And, there's such healing energy available here to you, Aquarius. I wasn't even planning to go into that much detail, but I just feel so inclined to tell you that if there's some kind of problem that you've been experiencing, that hope is on the horizon and that, you may find the answers or at least be pointed in the right direction around the 5th or 6th of July, plus or minus 1 or 2 weeks. Now, on the 15th/16th of July, depending where you live in the world, Mars will form a conjunction with Uranus in Taurus in your fourth house at 26 degrees. It's only making good aspects. It's sextiling the sun in Cancer. It's sextiling Neptune in Pisces. In saying that, Venus will be kind of in a wide opposition to Pluto at the time. So there is a bit of tension there. I digress. The fourth house is all about your family dynamics, who you live with, even if they're not family, even if this is like your random flatmate who you only see like once a week. On a different note, the fourth house rules over your relationship with your mother. It rules over your ancestry, your lineage, as well as your emotional world and your property and living circumstances. So Uranus rules over shocking change, sudden upheaval, unexpected events, and so on and so forth. But Mars rules over planning and taking action and being prepared and, being able to make difficult decisions if one needs to. So basically, this conjunction in the fourth house can indicate that there may be unexpected change, or perhaps change that seemingly comes through seemingly prematurely, right? So maybe you are having to relocate. Even if you were already planning to do this, perhaps that time frame is brought forward or even pushed back, or there's some kind of change to the agreement. Maybe you had decided on taking 3 months to relocate, and now it's like much shorter, or perhaps even longer as well. So there could be some kind of compromise that is required. There may be unforeseen expenses that are part of this relocation process, or even just unexpected expenses around the house. Maybe you're having to renovate something, or get in a builder or a contractor out of the blue. Do be careful of accidents in the home. So basically, Mars and Uranus are the two planets which are associated with accidents. I don't want you guys to freak out, but it's just like, if you're operating machinery at home, be careful. Be careful of, anything with an electrical current. So if you're using power drills or appliances, just be careful of not short-circuiting those. Please wear all kinds of protective equipment when you are dealing with machines and just doing stuff around the house in general. This can indicate having an unexpected disagreement or argument with someone that you live with, or with a family member. But again, there's a lot of supportive astrology with this conjunction. So I'm not too concerned. I mean, I'm not even concerned, but it is worth mentioning that emotions could be running high around the 15th or the 16th of July. So just be mindful of, hair trigger tempers, let's say. And for some of you, you could be uncovering certain information about your ancestry or your lineage, which you find quite surprising, or maybe you happen across this in a very unexpected way. On the 20th/21st of July, Mars is going to transit the sign of Gemini in your 5th house, which means it will be trining you, which is really, really helpful, supportive astrological energy. So the 5th house rules over love, romance, our sex life, children, owning one's own business. It also rules over creative projects, hobbies, and our natural gifts and talents. So Mars going through the 5th house can indicate a time where you're putting yourself out there more. This could be a time of going on lots of dates, just exploring different connections with different people, perhaps a friend with Mars ruling over the 3rd house, or a co-worker, or even a client. This can indicate a time where there's more passion and spice in your romantic life. So your sex life could get a bit of a kickstart here. On a different note, this can indicate wanting to try for a family. Okay, because wherever Mars goes, this is where we put in effort, and the 5th house rules over children. The downside of this transit could be disagreements and arguing with your significant other or with your children. Again, it's a short transit. It's only like 7 weeks, and it's still trining you, which I repeat is very helpful, beneficial, astrological energy. So this indicates having more energy to put into your relationship, having more energy to have fun and play with your children. And also, some of you may be deciding that you want to start your own business or expand the business that you do have further. So this can be like a renewed sense of, let's say, determination and energy that you want to put into these areas. Lastly, for the month Aquarius, on the 21st, there will be a full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees in your 12th house. The 12th house rules over our shadow side. It also rules over, it's a creative house in astrology. It rules over creative writing, poetry, photography, filmography, acting. The 12th house rules over charities and donations. The 12th house is associated with our subconscious self and self-sabotaging behavior. And it is also associated with foreign, faraway places. This full moon is happening at 29 degrees. So again, this is that anaretic critical degree that is coming up once more this month. So this can indicate a time where you are having incredible epiphanies when it comes to self-sabotaging behaviors, overcoming certain self-limiting belief systems. This can indicate a time where you are completing or concluding some kind of creative work or creative project. Again, this could be associated with writing, poetry, photography, filmography, or acting. This can be a period of going into retreat. So maybe this is a spiritual retreat. Maybe you're hosting a spiritual retreat. This could be a self-imposed period of isolation. Maybe it is for creative purposes. Some of you may be going into a rehabilitation facility, or this could be a period of rest, relaxation, recuperation, and healing. The full moon is making very positive aspects. It's sextiling Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces. It's trining Uranus in Taurus. It is conjunct Pluto, but Pluto is trining Mars in Gemini. So, on the whole, there's a lot of supportive astrology here, but 29 degrees is that energy of having to overcome an obstacle or hurdle. And it's like, that energy of one final test, and then the other side of that is an enormous breakthrough. So Aquarius, that's all I have for you for July 2024. If you enjoyed the horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, Aquarius. And now let's move on to Pisces. But first, need to keep hydrating. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Risings, welcome to your July 2024 forecast. On the 2nd of July, which is tomorrow, Neptune is going to station retrograde in Pisces in your first house at 29 degrees. Neptune goes retrograde every year like clockwork for over 5 months. So it's nothing that you're not already familiar with or attuned to, but this is the first time that Neptune's been retrograde at 29 degrees. So this 29-degree energy, which has been going on since the 3rd of May, can indicate that in some area of your life, there is a lack of clarity, there's confusion, there's not knowing how something is going to pan out, or what course of action needs to be taken. Or maybe there is an awareness of that, but your ability to do so hinges on other people or external environmental factors that are outside of your control. Neptune will be direct once more in the first week of December, and it will get off at 29 degrees in early September. So it's a retrograde until December, but on the 4th of September, it'll get to 28 degrees. So this is where that clarity may be coming through, or there can be like a bit of release of pressure for you Pisceans. In any case, the last couple of months, there may have been some questions that you've been personally having to ask yourself or deal with that are related to your path in life, what direction you want to be going in. Perhaps this is to do with your physical health, wanting to get healthier, wanting to make different lifestyle changes. Maybe you have been dealing with hormonal issues, because Neptune does rule over hormones. I don't know if you guys know that. So if there have been problems with your energy levels, or perhaps intense mood swings, you may want to investigate different hormone levels in your body. On a different note, Neptune being at 29 degrees can just indicate a time of having lots of emotional ups and downs. So perhaps especially over the last couple of months, some days you've been overwhelmingly happy, other days you've maybe felt depressed or apathetic. Some days you may experience extreme clarity of vision and an intuitive knowingness of what you need to do and where you want to go, and then the next moment that can just dissipate. So that's to be expected. That would be normal with this transit. That's why I'm mentioning it. I do think that you'll get some reprieve from this in early September. Neptune will go to 29 degrees again next year, but we'll talk about that later. On the 2nd of July, so an hour or two after Neptune goes retrograde, Mercury will be in Cancer at 29 degrees, making a perfect I can't talk. Let me start again. 1 or 2 hours after Neptune stations retrograde, Mercury will be in Cancer at 29 degrees, making a perfect trine to Neptune at 29 degrees. So this is great for having some kind of clarity of vision, feeling your faith being restored, maybe experiencing more joy or confidence, feeling like you're on the right path. This can indicate having a really profound conversation with your significant other, with your children, or even just with a child in your life, even if it's like a nephew or a niece. This can indicate having a creative breakthrough. This can indicate having a moment of clarity where you understand what you would need to do to experience more joy and love in your life. So let me know how you guys go in the comment section, Pisces, and let me know how you've been handling Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces for the last couple of months. On the 5th/6th of July, there will be a new moon in Cancer at 14 degrees in your 5th house. So this will be conjunct Sirius, which is the most spiritual fixed star in astrology. Again, the 5th house is related to your love life, your romantic life, your sex life. It's related to children, owning your own business, and your creative hobbies and talents and passions. So having this new moon occur in your 5th house can indicate that you are wanting to put yourself out there romantically speaking, or maybe you and your significant other are talking about taking your relationship to the next level. Maybe you are deciding that you want to start a family or expand your family further, whether this is you getting pregnant, maybe fostering a child, adopting a child. On a different note, this can indicate that you may have an idea of a business that you want to start, or even if you own your own business already, maybe this is like, I want to take it in this direction, or I know what I want to do with my business going forward. This can indicate discovering a new creative talent, finding a hobby that you're super passionate about, that you want to pursue. If you already have children, this can indicate a positive new chapter that is starting in their lives. No matter what age they are, this can indicate like a degree of healing that is taking place with your children. And because the 5th house rules over your love life, the same can be said for your significant other. So especially if they've been going through a difficult time in their life, this can indicate that they are having a new lease on life, and that they are feeling more optimistic about the future, or perhaps going through a spiritual awakening, or maybe your child is going through a spiritual awakening. In any case, this is such a positive new moon just in general. And then to have this in your 5th house, I'm kind of envious, you guys. So yeah, look out for what you feel inclined to pursue and explore around the 5th, 6th of July, plus or minus a couple of weeks. And by the way, if you're wanting to start a family, if you are single and you're wanting to meet that special someone, this is such a beautiful time to set intentions for that. So I would be looking at this, doing this, 12 to 72 hours after the new moon in Cancer. So have a look at when that is occurring in your time zone, and you can really manifest this dream vision of yours into your life. Now, on the 15th/16th of July, there will be a conjunction between Mars and Uranus in Taurus in your 3rd house at 26 degrees. Now, generally speaking, this is a pretty spicy conjunction, which can bring up unexpected problems or conflicts or just sudden change, which is perhaps quite shocking. In saying that, though, it is making really positive aspects. Yay. So it is sextiling the sun in Cancer in your 5th house, and it is sextiling Neptune in Pisces in your 1st house. Yes, Venus is making an opposition to Pluto, but let's just leave that to the side for now. The 3rd house rules over writing and communications, short-term travel, social media and online presence, rules over sales, co-workers, clients, friends, siblings, relatives, neighbors, etc., as well as vehicles and qualifications and certifications. So all of these topics may be, some or more or all of these topics may be coming up for you. Be careful on the roads at this time. Again, 15th, 16th of July, plus or minus a day or two. Okay, be super duper careful when you're driving, or even crossing roads as well as a pedestrian. Some of you may decide that you want to invest in buying a car or getting your license, and maybe this opportunity comes up out of the blue. You may be selling your vehicle or one of your vehicles, and again, this may be quite unexpected, but maybe someone makes a really good offer financially that's too hard to resist, or maybe you weren't even planning to buy a car and you're like, oh my God, this deal is too good to be true. Maybe you have to sell in order to use that money to go towards something else. This can be a time where you have a sudden download of information when it comes to a writing project or a communications project. So you could just be, maybe you wanted to write a book or film a documentary, but you weren't sure on the topic or how to move forward. And then around the 15th or the 16th of July, you're like, I know what I want to do. I have the clear vision. You can download the fully fledged blueprint of what it is that you want to create. And the same could be said for, starting a new business as well, because the 3rd house is a business house in astrology. This can indicate a sudden opportunity for short-term travel. So maybe it's like a few days, a weekend, or even like a week or two. Maybe this is just like local travel and the opportunity just happens to come up and you're like, okay, well, I'm available now, so I may as well make the most of it. Some of you may decide to enroll in a course or program. Maybe this is like brought to your attention and you weren't planning to do this, but the opportunity just falls into your lap, so you take it up. Or maybe you feel like you have enough knowledge and wisdom to share, and you're the one creating this course content or this course material. You may decide that you want to pursue a certain qualification, certificate, or diploma. And again, this could come about suddenly, unexpectedly. And maybe it's even like a 2-day, 3-day course. Because this conjunction is occurring in your 3rd house, it must be noted that this is a time for explosive arguments or just heated conversations and debates with a sibling, friend, an extended relative, or even a neighbor, a client, or a co-worker. But just know that with this conjunction sextiling the Sun in Cancer and sextiling Neptune in Pisces, I definitely think that there's an opportunity to overcome whatever disagreement takes place. So I'm not too concerned. In fact, I'm not concerned at all. It just could be like, someone's temper gets triggered and then you hug it out and it's completely fine. Okay, so on the 20th/21st of July, depending where you live in the world, Mars will enter the sign of Gemini, which means it will be transiting your 4th house. So it will be here for about 7 weeks. And this indicates that there's an intense focus on 4th house matters, property and living circumstances, family dynamics, the dynamics between you and people that you live with. And, the 4th house is all about your ancestry, your lineage, as well as your emotional world. Okay, so Mars going through the 4th house can indicate that during the 7-week period, you may be doing renovations. These may be extreme, these may be intense, or these may crop up due to some kind of unforeseen circumstances, worst case scenario, an accident taking place. So just be careful around the house when you're using, let's say, power tools. Try to say drills and tools at the same time. Power tools. You could just be going through a period of fixing issues around the house. You're like, this hole in the wall, I need to patch this up. I need to fix this, replace this, replace that. I can definitely see a lot of you spending a fair bit of time in the shed or in the garage, or just being really proactive about your property and living circumstances. Maybe you want to buy a place, maybe you want to sell a place. And this could be involving taking up a lot of your time and energy and effort. This could also be a time where you maybe even live abroad. It could be briefly, but it's like, okay, you have to travel for certain maybe legal reasons, because Mars rules over the 9th house. This could be related to citizenship. This could be related to trying to obtain permanent residency. Basically, the influence of Mars here is like you're solving a problem, or you're taking this action with a certain objective. On a different note, do be mindful of disagreements with family members, or just anyone who lives with you. Mars through the 4th house can be a pretty testing, trying time. And, even if it's not you, it could be that the person that you're living with, or the people that you are living with, are going through a bit of a difficult patch, and it's making it kind of annoying to live with them. Maybe they're just more sensitive than normal, or you're just having disagreements about things that you don't normally have disagreements about. Okay, so lastly with that one, you may be needing to kick out old tenants or get new tenants in. For those of you who are renting, you may receive notice that your landlord wants to sell the property. Maybe they want to move back into the property. So there could be some kind of external reason as to why you're now looking for a new place, but that won't be for everyone. This is just a general reading. Sorry, guys. This is the last note for today, but just bear with me. On the 21st of July, there will be a full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees, and this will be occurring in your 11th house. So this full moon is making positive aspects. It's sextiling Neptune at 29 degrees, Pisces in your 1st house. It's trining Uranus in Taurus. It's conjunct Pluto, which adds a spicy, challenging element to it. But, Pluto's trining Mars in Gemini, so it is overwhelmingly positive. It is occurring at the same time as a Mercury-Uranus square, though. But in any case, full moons are about something reaching conclusion, a situation reaching its peak, the end of a cycle, or a certain situation being illuminated to us. So with the full moon occurring in your 11th house, this can indicate that you're finally achieving a long-term goal or dream. This can indicate that you are receiving the praise or accolades or attention that is commensurate with all this effort that you've put in. This can indicate having successfully generated a passive form of income. Some of you may have successfully won some kind of court case, and now you are receiving or anticipating some kind of lump sum payout. The 11th house is associated with our wider network, friendships, and communities. So this can indicate achieving some kind of community goal. Now, because it is 29 degrees, which is the anaretic degree in astrology, which I've mentioned before, there could be some kind of crisis that precipitates this. So perhaps, there's one final challenge or hurdle right before you achieve this goal, or you happen across like a successful outcome. And I do think that whatever you're going through around the 21st of July, there will be a successful outcome, but still it's like something comes to a head, something needs to be finalized. There's this last like pressure or push that you need to direct all of your energy and attention towards, whether this is like that make or break moment with a project or with bringing an investor on board. In any case, I do think that there will be a positive outcome here, but just be mindful that you may reach a moment where you think that it's all over, that it's time to throw in the towel, that you have no other options that you can exercise in your current situation. But the way that I'm looking at this full moon, there's one last option, or there's one thing that you haven't yet explored or even dreamed possible. So, if around the 21st of July you find yourself, I just had like a vision of like being on your knees at this last moment of like, I need this to work. How is this going to work? Even just having that positive mindset shift to, I accept whatever happens, but I also accept divine support and guidance in this moment. This could be what delivers some kind of much needed support to you at that time. So again, this is the 21st of July, plus or minus a week or two. That's how long that energy will be surrounding you for. So Pisces, that's all I have for you for your July 2024 horoscope. If you enjoyed this reading, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Wishing you many blessings for the month ahead, and I'll see you in my August live stream. Bye for now.